Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome. It's Sunday night, so that means it's time to wind down your weekend. I am here to hang out with you for the next couple hours. I'm Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, here as always with the wonderful Wednesday Phil. What's up, Phil?
Hello. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's raining.
Yes. I have learned since I've moved here that it rains every day.
Yes.
So I didn't know that. I did not know that was the case. But everyone just tells me it's all part of hurricane season. So.
Well, it rains every day anyway, but this heavy rain is kind of your hurricane season rain. Like this rain, like the intense rain, is way more of a hurricane season thing because I've been coming to Florida my whole life to go to Disney and things like that, and it pretty much Disney sells ponchos. It rains so much that you can get
I didn't know
that you can buy ponchos in every gift shop at Disney because we used to make the joke because a lot of people ask people that work at Disney what time is the 3 o'clock parade. That's in your cast member training, how to answer the question what time is the 3 o'clock parade.
Oh, wow.
But it became our joke that it's 15 minutes after the rainstorm. So, because it was almost always going to rain, in the middle of the afternoon, so it was always a running joke with me and my friends that it's probably 2 o'clock, it's going to rain.
Yeah.
But, so how has your first week been?
I have to say I've still yet to actually experience this town at all in any capacity. I've moved into a place, so this past weekend was pretty much me just doing all the moving, and unpacking and helping my cat adjust to a new surrounding because I think she still is concerned that we're going to move in 3 or 4 days because that's pretty much been what we've been doing. So just pretty much been doing that, and I start my new job tomorrow. So
congratulations.
Yes, I'm very nervous and excited. So,
that's exciting. You had to do it. You did it all in 1 week. Got a place, got your job wrapped up.
Yes.
You introduced Bonnie to the lizards that run Florida.
She is very excited. There's a ton of them outside my little apartment, and I have a screened-in porch.
Oh, nice.
So she can sit out there. I'm going to astroturf it, and I think I'm going to build her a little ramp and a nice little spot that she can kind of hang out and look out and go outside and look at all the lizards. There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
A lot of lizards in this area.
Yeah, one got into the store the other day, and Pumpkin, if you're a longtime Bat City family member, you've probably met Pumpkin or heard of her at least, but the shop cat Pumpkin finally got to experience one, and it was where we were moving all the long boxes to. And so she went for it, and she had to hop over some boxes and went to get him, and he got under the boxes, and she just turned back and looked at me, and I was like, what? Well, he's under boxes now. And she was stared at me, and then she started meowing at me, and I was like, okay, so I moved one box, and she chased him until he went under the next box. I was like, I am not going to do this all day. That's your thing. You lost it. So of course she suckered Josh into helping her, because Josh will always do whatever Pumpkin wants. So Josh spent 30 minutes helping Pumpkin chase the lizard. She never got it, and there was this great picture I took of her laying dejectedly on the couch later, I never got that lizard, it got away. So I'm glad to see the cats are having fun.
Yes, and I'm sure she'll have plenty of chances to catch one at some point.
I'm sure. Speaking of pumpkin catching things, since it's Sunday night and we're winding down our weekend, we are doing so with Lisabella. I was like, I actually don't know what this wine is called. It is a Montepulciano wine. It's an Italian dry red. It's supposed to have that chocolate tobacco-y kind of blend into it. Never had a wine made from those grapes. It's an Italian dry wine, but let's see.
It's not terrible. I kind of like it.
They do call it a pizza wine, and now I just want a pizza, but I don't have anything to make a pizza in. So I'm pizza. Sounds delicious.
I could see this being with pizza. I can definitely see the tomato sauce combined with the red wine. This is pretty good.
Oh wow, we found a dry one that Phil likes. Yeah. I'm impressed.
Have I not usually liked the...
No, you're usually more on the sweeter side, and we're usually more on the dry side. And so, hey, there you go. Now we found one that you like. And speaking of why you need your Winn-Dixie rewards card, it was buy one, get one free for this brand wine.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you know what? It's free. Let's try it. Because I bought one I knew we would like, and then you get this one for free. So shout out Winn-Dixie with the rewards card with the buy one, get one free.
They did immediately ask me when I signed up for the rewards if I want the alcohol rewards information as well. They were like, do you want us to send you all the alcohol stuff? And I was like, I guess. I don't know.
Because they have their own, like, liquor stores.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, I don't know if you've known, like, the grocery store liquor stores, they, like, close at 10 or whatever when the grocery stores close. But, like, regular liquor stores here are open until, like, 2 or 3 in the morning. And they're open on Sundays. It's crazy.
I will admit, I've learned that Florida is a state that very much loves its drinking.
It's a tourist place, so you go, you drink on your vacation. But also, we were just in one of the only states that didn't have that. We were the anomaly before. But since we're winding down our weekend, obviously that means there's some new comics. Before we jump into those, just want to remind you, of course, speaking of new comics, this is the last time we're going to do this up here. Okay, apparently Pumpkin's going to be on the show tonight. This is the last time we're going to do, this is her seat, so she's like, are we sitting at the table? Come on. This last time we're going to be up here for the live stream. We are going to be back in the store next weekend because the 17th, next Saturday, is when the store is going to have its grand opening here in Bradenton. So really excited for that. It's going to be from 12 to 7 p.m. next Saturday. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. There's going to be deals on comics. There's going to be door prizes. There's going to be face painting. There's going to be some costumed characters. If you get lucky, apparently you might get to meet Pumpkin because she thinks she's the center of the show. Can you at least like show everybody how cute you are if you're going to do that? Yeah, get on the show. Get on the show. Yeah, there you go. Oh, now you're comfortable. Okay, so this is how I'm doing the rest of the show, apparently. Welcome to the show, Pumpkin.
Sleepy.
She's like, I'm on the show now. This is Pumpkin down your weekend. But yeah, so we're opening next Saturday from 12 to 7. Get off the table.
She's good.
Goodness gracious. From 12 to 7 next Saturday, we will be opening up. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. And then next week we'll be doing the show either from our counter or from the new classroom. I haven't decided where it's going to be set up next week, but we're going to find out, and it's going to be great. So I'm excited. If you're in Florida, and you're not too far away, come out next week and hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're not, don't worry. We will definitely be posting a lot of videos and pictures and stuff so you can see all the stuff that we've been working on. But let's talk about what came out this week. All right. We've got, starting it off from Image Comics, we've got The Dead Lucky #2. I totally forgot your piece of paper. I'm sorry. The Dead Lucky #2. This is a new superhero type book from Image. This one actually is what I believe is going to be the first of an imprint for Kyle Higgins. This is another creator who talked about how Kyle Higgins was the person, like the editor, essentially like the person that got him on an image and got them on an image and everything. So super cool. But this is the story of a girl who was a soldier in the military and is now out, had some bad experiences with everything, has a lot of PTSD, and her way of dealing with it is she's now got a mech suit and she's trying to take down all of the bad guys that are, just the street level criminals that are coming after her community. But at the same time, we've got this big corporation called Morrow that's like, oh, we promise you a better tomorrow kind of thing. But they're, when the big corporation comes in and says, we've got your safety and we're cleaning up this city, it's never actually what they're doing. So you've got all the underground, like back end stuff that with the corporation and all of this, but you also get this great conversation about how she's dealing with her PTSD. And I love this character because she talks to herself, but she does it out loud. So she's basically narrating the book at a lot of the times, but then she's like, people will hear her and they're like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm sorry, it's just a thing I do. I talk to myself. But like, it just sounds like comic narration. So it's actually really funny if you read a lot of comics that hinge on narration. But you can see how this is going to be a part of like a Kyle Higgins style imprint, which again, I think it is just I think Kyle might have his own imprint now.
Is that what this black market narrative is that I'm seeing?
Yes. Okay. And so it's really good. What I like about it is at the back of the book each time they give you resources for if PTSD and where you can call if you are having trouble experiencing that, and veteran lines and things like that. So I love that they're including that information in the conversation. But really fun art, really bright colors. If you're a fan of Radiant Black, this is kind of in that same, like, the 30-something-year-old who suddenly has superpowers and is using it to deal with whatever emotional or mental situation they're in at the time.
Right. And I'm fully on board for all of these, publishers to give imprints to, the creators that seem to be doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Joseph Smolke with what he's done with Black Caravan at Scout. I mean, Kyle Higgins has put together a nice universe with the Radiant Black, so you might as well just see what he can bring to the table. So I think that's great. I think that's really cool. Also, I like the fact you said that there was like all these resources.
Yeah, and that's actually a recipe. Her parents are, she has a Chinese mother. I believe it's the mother is Chinese and the father is Chinese and the mother is Latinx. And so they have a recipe for how the mom actually talks about, because they have a restaurant that's Chinese Mexican food crossover restaurant. Mm-hmm. And the mom is talking to her about food that she's making and how the dad hates that she always adds stuff to like the dumplings and things. And so they actually have the recipe for the food they're talking about also in the back of the book, which is really cool. And I kind of want to try it in your kitchen because it's a full kitchen. Well,
so not only are you getting an issue of a comic, but you get one recipe as well.
Yeah, which is super cool.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Issue 3 of Starhenge by Liam Sharp, also at Image. This is the most high fantasy, high sci-fi book that is out right now. Like, just hands down, both of them. Like, it is both high fantasy and high sci-fi all at the same time. It is the story of Merlin, but it is all done in kind of a sci-fi futuristic way, but we're seeing the past and the present and the future and all of these things all at the same time. And it's kind of like if Merlin's more so an alien than a wizard. And we have, still a wizard, still magical. Right. And then we have a girl in the now that's into witchcraft, and she's kind of solving some mysteries that are connected to it. And so we're seeing her story paralleling to this story. And Liam Sharp is doing all of it. Writing, art, coloring. It's all Liam Sharp. So if you are a fan of things like Batman Reptilian or any of his other work in like DC, this is a really great way to just see Liam kind of show off his own style.
I usually am very intrigued when an artist who is clearly proven that they're one of the top artists in the game decides to take on the writing aspect of it. And this is always kind of what I imagine, is that they try and take these like crazy high concepts and like I'm more concerned is he going to be able to flesh this out and have it all come together in one story?
It is not one of those where you're like, it doesn't meld. Like, it's kind of like he doesn't leave you with more answers each time. Like, he's kind of melding it like perfectly as he goes along. And they just built like it's called Starhenge, so you can reference that it's gonna be about Stonehenge, and obviously it's King Arthur and everything. He's actually already like, they just built Stonehenge in this and in this issue, and it's got a lot of like history and folklore and everything blended into it, but while he's still kind of blending in that high fantasy like sci-fi mold that he's kind of trying to blend together.
Yeah,
it's a super interesting book, and it's one of those books that every comic creator out there has praised this. So, like, I mean, he has had quotes from Tom King, Gail Simone, like, everybody has had a quote on the back of this book, and we're 3 issues in. So, it's obviously something that it's going to, I feel like it's probably going to get fleshed out really well, because some of the writers who are, like, the biggest writers are saying, like, this story is great. So, they must have really thought it was great.
Interesting.
This is book 3. Issue 3. It's very confusing because it's one of those where he's already volumizing it. Yeah, so it's like says book 1 on there, but this is issue 3 of book 1. And it's cool. So if you're into fantasy or sci-fi, like, this is one of those books that's going to appeal to both sides of the market. Starhenge, Image, pick it up.
I read the first issue and was so confused, and I was like, maybe this is one of those that Image is going to do a nice hardcover of, and then I can read it once it's all compiled and take my time, because it's also, when I read that first issue, I just kind of want to look at all the art.
You're definitely gonna, like, it's not one that you can blow through. Like, if you're like, oh, I just want to read a book really fast, don't pick up Starhenge. If you're looking for something that you can be embedded in this new world, and you have to sit there and, like, think about each page and then go to the next page, like, if you want to read Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or something like that, this is a book that you want to pick up. If something like that is daunting to you, don't read Starhenge, because it is that high concept. You're gonna need to actually, like, sit down with it for a while and chew on it. From Aftershock, issue 2 of the Vineyard is out this week, and I'm actually super sad that you haven't gotten to read this, because I know you missed issue 1. But our wine, I love talking about this when we're drinking wine, because it's what it's all about. But this is the story of a family who runs a vineyard, and they wanted to make sure that the wine and themselves could be successful. So they made a deal with Dionysus. And I believe it's actually, yes, I was going to make sure it was Dionysus and not Bacchus. But yeah, Dionysus, they made a deal with him, and they have to commit 4 sacrifices to Dionysus, like, every year, to keep the vineyard going. And those sacrifices have to be living humans sacrificed on, like, the altar in front of the tree that the vineyard comes from. And so this family, the dad's always done it, but the dad recently got in an accident, so now somebody else has to step up. And so you've got your son, who's the loyal, faithful son, who stepped in because the mom can't do it. The mom can't bring herself to kill anybody. She's never done it. She doesn't want to do it. She just wants to have a vineyard and be a, like, nice business person in the community and just be a happy family. And you've got the estranged daughter. And so in issue 1, the son has taken on the role of, I have to sacrifice these people to keep our vineyard running. In issue 2, the prodigal daughter returns because she's worried about her mom being stuck with both of them being, like, the dad and the brother being completely invested in this craziness, as she assumes it is. So now you've got this great family drama brewing, and of course the mom's like, no, nothing's wrong, everything's great here, what are you talking about? And we've got the daughter's brought home her fiance, who's never met anybody in the family and doesn't know about all the crazy. So we're about to get, like, issue 3 is going to be wild, and I cannot wait to jump into issue 3, because this family has so many problems. Like, the sacrifice that was made in this issue, the mom knows the person but doesn't know that they were the sacrifice. So in issue 3, that's all going to blow up. Everything is going to blow up in issue 3, and I cannot wait. If you're not reading this, this is a great, like, horror movie, like, kind of thing. Like, you could see, like, this being one of those, like, slow moving, like, Jordan Peele almost, kind of like,
okay,
oh, where's this going? Like, okay, so we made these sacrifices, but, like, these people don't know. And it's like, the daughter gonna be sacrificed? Is the fiance gonna be sacrificed? Like, is the family gonna, like, end up that there's, like, a twist to it? Like, it feels like those modern horror movies that we see where it's like, oh, I kind of, like, it's more about the family drama, and then suddenly the horror of it all, like, comes out, and it's the people somehow are the problem.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see where that falls in this, because I definitely feel like that's going to be the case.
Okay. I feel like there was another book recently that was horror and related to a vineyard of some sort. I feel like this isn't the first book we've had this year that kind of had those two going hand in hand.
Yeah, no, wine and vineyards and wine, vineyards and horror definitely seem like something that could go together. As usual, with a Black Caravan book, check the page before you show it.
Yeah, of course.
But issue 2 of Vanity is finally here from Black Caravan. I've been waiting forever for this. We sold out of issue 1, like, almost immediately. And I'm no surprise why. This is the story of Elizabeth Bathory, who is so many things. The inspiration behind Dracula, the first female serial killer, possibly a vampire, possibly just a contest, like, barrenness, possibly just a woman who was treated poorly because she was a woman who ran her own castle in the Carpathian Mountains in like the 1400s. Could be all of those things. Could be that she murdered a bunch of people and bathed it in their blood. You know, the world may never know. But this story is going to kind of give us a little bit of insight into that, and it's kind of her story. And at this point in the story, she's just been forced into marriage. You know, as every person with a title back then was, she's been forced into marriage, and she hates her husband, and she's already told him, like, literally as they're walking down the aisle, he's like, what would you ask from me? Like, you're my wife now, I'll give you anything. And she's like, I'd like your head on a platter. And he's like, well, let's not be rash. Like, if you kill me, our families would go to war, and my family is better at war than your family is. And your family's just a bunch of strategists. And she's like, you're right. I'm here for the long game. I'll have it all, and you'll be gone. And it's like, happy wedding day! Yeah. Like, it's so great. And now she's been given her castle, and we're starting to see a lot about who she is. But we do see a lot about what started that hatred between her and her husband, and everything, and where she's going, and how she meets some of the people that have played into the history of this story for a long time.
When the first issue of this came out, was this a pick of the week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Because I remember seeing it, and I was like, I think I read this, but then I was like, that was so long ago.
It was so long
There's
ago.
no way this must be a new series.
It got
I should have read this.
it was the normal 2-month like waiting period that Scout usually has between books, but then it got delayed more. For some reason, I don't know why. So it's been more than 2 months at this point, but I thought that it was never going to come out, and I got so excited when I saw it on the list of books that came out this week. Like, I think Josh actually told me, because I was like, I don't know what books are out this week, and Josh was like, oh, this and this and Vanity, and I was like, shut your mouth, Josh. I was like, oh my god, it's here. It's finally here. I was like, now I want to like drive to Fort Myers and see if they have more copies of issue 1, because I need more, because it's so good. I love this book. This book is one of those where I'm like, I'm fascinated by the story of Elizabeth Bathory, so it's one of those books that I could put it in the pick of the week every time, but you're going to hear me talk about it so much that you don't really need me to put it in the pick of the week. But I love it. I love this story. And it's being done by a team of creative people who actually live in the Carpathian Mountains now. Like, they're from there. They live there. It's super cool. I think that's amazing that it's, like, actually people, like, from the region telling the story that they've probably heard their whole lives and know more about, like, this history and this, like, folklore around it. So I'm obsessed with this book. Vanity, issue 2, Dark Caravan. Duh. It's Black Caravan. Black Caravan. So, of course, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to toss this out there really fast because I feel like it's been forever since we talked about it, but That Texas Blood is back, and this is technically issue 17. It's issue 3, I believe, of this story, or 2 of the story arc. Now I forgot. 2 or 3 of the story arc.
Does not say.
No. Part 4.
Part 4.
Okay. This is a story that takes place in West Texas. It was originally meant to be a movie, and they didn't sell the script, so the creator decided, hey, let's turn it into a comic book. And so this is Chris Condon's first comic book as a writer. And he brought on Jacob Phillips, who does all the coloring and everything on the Reckless series, and who is the son of Sean Phillips, to do the art. And it has been one of the coolest books. It's such a fun, it has that same feel like the Brubaker Phillips books, where you get that same noir crime sense, but you're getting these weird, almost supernatural murders in a small town, and then, like, yet there's not actually, like, it feels supernatural the whole time because of the eeriness of the storytelling, but it always ends up just really being a person. Like, so far we might find out someday that there's, like, something that's wrong with this town, but each volume has kind of had, like, a time period that it kind of like sets place in. And so this one goes way back in time to when our main character is younger, and he's like a new sheriff, and he's working with he just became sheriff, and we're seeing him remember this case where he feels like he didn't do the right thing. And that's kind of what the series has been about. A lot of it is the sheriff kind of just solving a murder in the moment, but also remembering some of his worst times that he didn't solve the murder. Yeah. Which is it's such a fascinating story, and I love the artwork on this book.
I'm shocked that it's gone this far, 17 issues. I'm curious if this is still part of the original movie script.
Yeah.
Or if now he's expanded beyond that, or has decided to open that world up.
I'm assuming he's expanded beyond it because Chris and Jacob just went to West Texas and stayed with the person that Joe Bob is based off of.
Oh, okay.
And hung out there, and so I think at this point they're working on new concepts because they are meeting and brainstorming. I mean, Jacob flew from England to come over and check out West Texas. He was like, I was doing a terrible job. This didn't look like West Texas at all, and I was like, no. I'm from Texas, and you did a great job. Maybe there's not that much snow all the time, but it's not that far off. Yeah. Trust me, as a person from Texas who lived in central west side of Texas for a minute, you didn't miss it too far.
And this has been optioned, hasn't it?
Yes, which was funny to me because I was like, you couldn't sell the movie script, so you turned it into a comic book, and then somebody was like, oh, that'd make a great movie. And it was well, where were you when I tried that in the first place? From Battlequest Comics, we've got Nomad The Unconquerable. This is The City of Empty Towers, and it's part 5 of 6.
Part 3.
Part 3 of 6. I don't know how to count today. It is part 3 of 6. All of our comics are in boxes right now, so I don't know what number I'm on. Part 3 of 6. This is a new publisher. This is actually their first title. Battlequest Comics is somebody that I talked to at the Retailer Summit, the Comics Book Retailer Summit earlier this year, and they sent us some freebies for Free Comic Book Day to give out, and then we got to check it out, and it is really cool art. I really like the grayscale look of it. This bluish gray that they use is a really pretty color palette for the story, but it is the story of a man. It kind of feels very 300 Leonidas kind of situation where he's narrating that, we have to go out, that beginning montage of where they tell the story of Leonidas in 300 where it's you have to go out and you have to do this thing. This is the story of a man who has known his whole life that all warriors for this village must eventually go and face this situation and battle against these things and stop it, and he's now on that voyage essentially to do all of those things and hopefully come back and be king and remain king, I guess I should say. And in his voyage, he has found out that a lot of the things that they've told him were not true. And he's found out that a lot of the people who he thought were closest to him and on his side may actually be on a different side. And so the twists and turns of this have been really, really great. In issue 2, he's fighting somebody, and when they get to the point where he reveals them from their mask, I actually was like, oh my gosh. Did that just happen? Did we go there? That's awesome. And so it's really great, but it is almost completely told through that narration. It does feel like you're watching that video montage from 300. But you get these really cool monsters and creatures and just these beautiful landscapes and stuff that are all done in this blue grayscape that just makes it really pop off the page.
Yeah, this is an impressive first book from a new publisher. I remember when the first issue came out and I read it and I was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. It's a bit you get some of the stuff you would expect, some tropes, but also there's some new stuff added onto it. So I think this is a great first attempt at putting a book out, and the art in this book is unbelievably good.
Yeah, if you're gonna go in this direction, Battlequest, and this is gonna be the standard that you uphold everything to, I'm here for it. And the guy that is the editor and the person that was representative from the publishing company when I was talking to them, he actually said that he is also the one that letters the books. And so really? I was like, because I asked, I was like, oh well, because he was like, what's the thing that just kills a a small press book for you. And, a lot of them were like, oh, if it doesn't have the marketing behind it. And I was like, that's my job. It's my job to market your book.
Yeah.
It's your job is to tell me why I should buy it. My job is to tell the customer why they should read it. 100%. But the thing that makes it hard to sell that is if your lettering is to where I cannot read the book.
Yeah.
And this is, and actually I think Andrew did the story on this one. So he didn't do the letters on this one, but he did letters on some of the other ones. But
yeah, but it's lettered, by the editor, executive editor.
Yeah, and so
that's cool.
Yeah, and Andrew's the publisher. He's the one I talked to, and so him and Tom, he said, do a lot of the stuff. Like they do a lot of the lettering and a lot of the writing and things like that. So,
that's cool.
Super cool, and it's great to see new publishers coming up and being so ready to go, like right out the gate. I love it.
Well, I mean, we're in this time period where there's so many new publishers. I feel like, especially in the last year, we've mentioned a few new ones, and so now you not only have to get your publishing company going, but now you have to separate yourself from everyone else that's also starting a publishing company. So, to me, that's a good start.
That's a good start.
It's going to be one of those names that we write down. It's like, oh, here's another one from. It's like the moon. Is it Dead Moon?
Blood Moon.
Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you give us just that one initial taste, where it's like, this is fantastic, we're going to try and make sure we're always going to be talking about your books.
Absolutely. And CEX. I mean, with Past Last Mountain. Oh, my God. That was a great choice for one of their first books. Behemoth, for now, has issue 2 of Kingdom Come Deliverance. I made that joke because the previous catalog has already switched to calling them Sumerian comics. So
kind of bummed about that.
This will be one of the last waves of things being called Behemoth from them now that Sumerian Records has bought them. But Kingdom Come Deliverance, this is issue 2. And this is your classic Knights Kings battle. You got King one guy versus King the other guy. Honestly, like you could put in names there, but we've got King Wenceslas, and he is the drunken king, and everybody doesn't want him, so they get the other king who's known for bloodshed to come in and take him down. And now people are like, wait, maybe we don't want this guy. And you got your rogues who are out there, taking advantage of all the fighting going on. And you got the ones that are hired. And so if you're into knights, this is your book. If you are not into knights, there is not anything in here that's not knight-like. Like, this is the most, like, knights going to war over kingdoms, kings, and all of that kind of drama that goes with that book that you'll have. And you're trying to remember everybody's names and who's who kind of situation. Right. But like you've got the 2 kings that are fighting for the kingdom. Well, you got the one king who's fighting for the kingdom, and the other one's a drunkard who's like, nobody, at this point, he's like in jail, and they're like, his people are trying to decide if they even want to fight to save his kingdom for him. So, and it's all of that action, all of that. There is a deep story if you're a fan of Knights. This is going to have like a lot of that story lore of like, ooh, who's double crossing who and whose kingdom is going to be what. But this is your book if you're looking for more, like if you're watching House of Dragons or whatever the Targaryen show is, the new Game of Thrones, and you're like, I need more knights double crossing each other in my life. Here you go, Kingdom Come Deliverance. This is going to be your follow up to that situation.
And even though I'm not a fan of Knights primarily, it's a Behemoth book, so I'm just going to go ahead and recommend it.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Behemoth has great writers all the time, and if you're a fan of Knights, this is a great book to pick up. Because I'm not really, like, when it comes to reading Knight stuff, I don't really ever, like, pick it up and read it other than Dark Knights of Steel, because I'm familiar with I like the way they twist all the characters.
Right.
But I'm not really into reading about knights. Like, I couldn't read the Game of Thrones books because I didn't need 13 pages describing what was on the table. That's a different situation entirely. But I'm not I don't want to read all of that kind of storytelling. But I like it when it is cinematic. So in a comic form, it's a lot easier to get behind if it still has that good writing. And that does have the good writing of a good knight story. So if you're a fan of like a Chaucer telling you about knights kind of thing, you're going to get a lot of the writing but it's the action side of it all.
I only ever liked that movie Heath Ledger was in.
A Knight's Tale? Yeah, that is the best night movie of all of them. Also, that is literally the Chaucer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Chaucer is in the movie, and the reason why is because Chaucer wrote A Knight's Tale. But it is not actually anything like the story. There's a lot of characters that show up, like the guys that are trying to take the money from him, like the guy that how Alan Tudyk's character, or Chaucer, is a terrible gambler, and then there's the guys that come and they're trying to take like the money, and they're like, we're gonna beat him. Yeah. Those are actually characters from the Canterbury Tales that Chaucer wrote, which included A Knight's Tale. So it is all references to the actual literary work that Chaucer wrote, but it is not like how it's kind of like how 10 Things I Hate About You is supposed to be the Taming of the Shrew, but it's very much like just the concept of like the two sisters. And neither one of those are kind of, Baz Luhrmann directly adapted Romeo and Juliet dialogue to put in modern world, but like those are just like, hey, we heard there was a concept by Shakespeare, and we're using it. A Knight's Tale is kind of like, we heard there's this concept by Chaucer in the Canterbury Tales, and we're using it for this idea of this story. And that is like reference to the story that the Knight tells, because Canterbury Tales is all a bunch of travelers sitting around a fire telling their stories to Chaucer as he writes them down.
Did not know that.
Thank you, Victoria. Victoria's like, I love the infusion of modernity in A Knight's Tale. Thank you. Yes, me too. I just actually love Chaucer in A Knight's Tale so much that it makes me think I want to go back and read Chaucer, and then I do, and I'm like, oh, never mind. I only just like Paul Bettany, turns out. Issue 2 of Golden Rage from Image Comics is out. This is the other one that I needed to find you a number 1 of, and I forgot. This is, what if the Golden Girls were all, what if all old women were put on, like anybody post-menopausal was put on an island and told, and had a Lord of the Flies situation. It's Lord of the Flies with the Golden Girls. That's literally what this is. It's a bunch of old women. Anybody that passes menopause, essentially, is sentenced to this island. And so that's actually the thing about the story, is it's always been old women and female identifying people who who are postmenopausal, and this young girl is forced into has early menopause because of a hysterectomy or something, and so they throw her on the island, and all of the elderly women who are running the island that are on the team kill everybody on the island are now after her, and she ends up with this group of 4 women who are very similar to the Golden Girls. And the book is narrated essentially by the Rose character.
Okay.
So you essentially have Betty White narrating a story about a fight club, Lord of the Flies island with old ladies on it. And she's this whole issue. They're supposed to be going to do something, and there's points where they're making their strategy and you're into it really far, and then suddenly she's picture it, I'm sitting back in my home, it's like this one time in St. Olaf, except it's not actually called St. Olaf, but it's like this one time in St. Olaf, and then her narration bubbles cover up the whole page while you're trying to see what's actually happening in the story, and you're like, I don't care about your chickens. And so you become kind of like Dorothy yelling at Rose, Rose, and then they say it, hey, focus. And so it's super great. What I love about it is the back of the book, the supplemental materials. One, there's always some ridiculous, St. Olaf-y kind of thing. But this issue also includes an excerpt from Betty White and an excerpt from Rue McClanahan's autobiographies. And I thought that was super cool that they actually include stuff from the actual Golden Girls. And then the back usually has a quote. The last back page usually has a quote from the Golden Girls, and this one's "Have I given any indication that I care?" from Sophia. Great book, so much fun. Can't wait to see where it goes. Because it's just kind of ridiculous, but kind of amazing all at the same time. Yeah. You just keep making it. I love this book.
This was one that I saw the cover and I was like, I feel like I'd really enjoy this book, but I didn't read number 1.
I gotta get you number 1.
And now that I know the premise of this book, I'm even more like I really want to read this book.
I gotta get you that because it's issue 1 is fantastic, and this one is too. And there's just these beautiful stories where it's just like the Golden Girls, where it's like, this is ridiculous, and then suddenly we're in a heartfelt moment, and we're like, how did I get here? And but I'm 100% okay with it. But how did I get here? Speaking of heartfelt moments, Twig issue 5 is out from Image. This is the end. This is the end.
Don't go too deep into this.
Volume 1.
Okay,
maybe?
so there's
It does say Twig will return on the back cover or back inside cover. So I'm assuming that is going to happen. This is an incredible book. It is all about a young placeling, as they call them, named Twig, and he is the last placeling, and he doesn't want to actually have to fulfill their destiny. He wants to be a cook, and so the whole first half of the series has kind of been him dealing with having to do this job, which is the placing job is to find a thing and put it in the spot that it goes so that a actual quester can save the world from whatever evil is coming. And he is on this adventure with his best friend Splat, which is literally just like a blob of goo. And at this point, there are now 3 of them because they have rescued an animal that they were supposed to actually find the heart of. And so they thought they were going to have to kill this animal, and now they've just befriended him, and he's on their journey with them. And this is the end of Arc 1, so it kind of shows the end of this adventure and hopefully the beginning of many more. But it's great to see Twig kind of incorporate all of the things that he loves about himself and the things that he actually didn't think he would love about the job and this moment that connects him to his father and his history.
Now, I feel like towards the end of the first issue, if I remember correctly, we were kind of iffy on this being a kid's book.
It is 100% a kid's book. It's stayed a kid's book.
Because I see this.
Yeah, I don't know
cover.
what that cover is. It's Peach Momoko, but it has nothing to do with the book at all.
Oh, okay.
At all. This didn't happen in this book, so I don't really know what this cover was about. Other than just like Peach doing like a crazy cover. But and I only brought it because I know everybody loves to see the Peach Momoko Twig covers. But the Scotty Young covers are even more like kid friendly than Scotty Young usually is. So don't be confused. This is still 100% just a kid's book. Like in the way that who you could give it to, but it's beautiful and everybody's been loving it. Speaking of books that are 100% kid friendly, Eratic is back from AWA Upshot. This is volume 2 of Eratic. It's called Recharged. If you've never read Eratic, he is one of the superheroes from the Resistance universe. Again, don't have to read Resistance to know anything about it, but just know that he got his powers from a virus. And Eratic's powers are just that he has all of the superpowers he could possibly need, but he only has them for 10 minutes a day. And once they're done, they're done. And he uses them to save things, but it always kind of backfires because by the time he gets like deep into the battle with these people, he's out. And at the end of volume 1, he was responsible for a lot of things that he felt like a lot of people got hurt. And it was just a rough time. And his mom's become an alcoholic because their dad left. And he thinks that he killed his dad. And so there's just all this guilt that he has. He thinks it's his fault. His mom is an alcoholic because she thinks the dad is gone. He thinks he's killed his dad. His brother is trying to be cool at this new school, and he feels like he brings him down. So he just has all this stuff. But in volume 1, he started dating the most popular girl in school, but that lost her status. And so now she's in this volume is very much like, hey, we're going to use your superhero-ness to get me back to being the most popular person in school. And he's like, I don't really think that that's what I want to do. I don't want to be a superhero anymore. Like, it's just kind of a bad thing for everybody. Because he's very much in that, young Peter Parker. He feels more like Sideways from DC than Spider-Man in that, vein of, the teen superheroes that is very much modernized to our current culture. But she wants to be popular again, and he kind of just wants to hide. He literally says, I just want to be invisible. And she's like, nobody wants to be invisible. He's like, I do. And so it's this first issue is them two arguing, and then there is the introduction of a new character who is a warrior princess from another realm who has shown up, much like Wonder Woman, to stop the evil. And of course, his girlfriend definitely hates that this like hot teenage warrior princess from another place has just shown up. So lots of all of the regular superhero hijinks and drama that you could imagine, but with that AWA heart mixed into it.
Yeah, I'm stoked that they brought this back. Because, it's weird. I've never... So, I get a lot of crap for this, but I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan.
Right.
Especially Peter Parker. But I liked Sideways, and I like this character.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they kind of touch on a little bit of how Peter Parker is, but they also are very different from Peter Parker.
Yeah, Peter Parker's a little more douchey than they are.
Yeah.
In the early days. I know that we've like expanded on what Peter Parker is since then, but in those first like teenage, very beginning issues, like this is more Spidey Peter Parker. I don't know if you read the Spidey series. But this
is that the one based on the cartoon?
Kind of. But it starts with him always, like, the intro every time is like, oh, I got these superpowers. And it's a good thing I was a cosplayer, but he definitely looks more like Drake Bell, like, in that series. Like, because it kind of feels like Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. But it kind of feels in that vein, like, it's more trying to be lighthearted and heartfelt moments than, like, I'm going to get mine because everybody's been picking on me, as Spider-Man started out so much in the beginning.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm glad they brought that back.
Yeah. Up next from Image is Antioch. This is #1. Glad you didn't try to read this because I forgot to tell you that it is a spinoff of Frontiersman.
Oh, okay.
That's the trade I meant to grab. So if you haven't read Frontiersman, you can read this because it gives you that little Frontiersman did this thing. But this is another superhero in that universe or superpowered person in that universe. Frontiersman was all about, I always said, what if Ron Swanson was a superhero? And they pulled him out of that cabin in the woods and had him come stay on a tree to try to stop big business from destroying where they were going. And while he was on that tree, a lot of superheroes and villains came at him, and he ends up fighting them and ends up going into prison. This is Antioch, who is another superpowered character from that world, and he's kind of on a war path right now where he's like, hey, I'm also against these big corporations and all the terrible things that they're doing, but instead of going with this peaceful protest, I'm going to destroy everything. And, like, at one point, he, like, destroys a tanker in his little oil tanker, and all the sidekicks are like, sir, there's no way to destroy this tanker without getting oil into the water. And he's like, well, I don't want a single drop of oil in the water. That would be bad. And they're like, then you can't destroy the oil tanker. And he is like, I'm going to destroy the oil tanker, and they can deal with it. And so he's kind of, like, a showman. Like, he's more about like the theatrics behind it because he's trying to get their attention, because he's trying to get arrested. And so I assume the connection point is that he's trying to get to where the frontiersman is in prison, because we do see that a little bit in the story as well, but I don't know how these two things are going to coincide, and I'm very curious to see how these two stories merge. Josh and I were actually talking about it because Josh didn't read Frontiersman, and he started reading this and he was like, oh, what's Frontiersman? Like, now I'm intrigued about that because this was really good and I want to know what that is. And so telling him about Frontiersman, and he said that the letter from the creative team in the back of this book actually addresses the fact that a lot of people had an issue with Frontiersman because their letters in the back of the book were like, hey, here's the best superhero comic to hit your shelves. And they were like, people were like, that's not the best superhero comic. Like, calm down. Like, you just started. And they're like, because it was just like the bravado, the excitement. Like, here's a new thing. And they're like, we're trying to give you like a new superhero that takes you back to like the title character is what it's about. It's not like team built drama. It's just these characters and kind of learning about the single issue like superhero or villain and all of their flaws. Right. So it brings you back to that because so many of the single character books have now even become like their connections to all the other heroes. And this is like, hey, what if we just kind of focus on some single titled characters again?
I'm kind of shocked that they decided to expand on that universe. I kind of thought it was going to be a one and done type of character.
I'm definitely glad that it's not, because I want to see what happens, because it was a very good story, and I felt like the character had a lot of places that they could go with it, but he was stuck in that tree the whole time, and he was getting like visited by the ghosts of his past, essentially. So I'm excited to see what happens, because now he's in prison. Like, Frontiersman is in prison, but they have a power blocker, so it's like he can't use his powers, but neither can any of the villains. And so they're like, hey, like, we can still beat you up. And he's like, you can try. And he's this old man. And it's like, dude, you're an old man. You're going to get beat up. Stop trying to run your mouth. But it's Ron Swanson. So you're like, you just hear Nick Offerman being like, well, if that's what you want to do, son. Like, and it's great. It reads perfectly. If you're a fan of Parks and Rec, I just guarantee you will love this book for that reason. Up next, Dark Knights of Steel, Tales of the Three Kingdom. I really just brought this because there's been a lot of Dark Knights of Steel, like, subtitled things that have come out, and people have been like, oh, is this a new Dark Knights of Steel? And it's just been, like, reprints of issues, like, 1 through 3 or 4 through 6 or whatever. This is actually new stories in the Dark Knights of Steel universe. This goes back, and they are doing stories of them as children. So we're learning about Bruce and Kal-El as children and teenagers and stuff, prior to the events of Dark Knights of Steel. So this is, and this is not a one-shot. There's going to be more of these, but it's just kind of giving us these things that are going to connect to the story overall. And we're going to see some of these characters because we are so into it. So these are like the side episodes that come in and tell you a little bit more about those characters and how they connect. And in this one, we see how he gets the Robins, like what makes Bruce decide to like help the Robins, because Bruce has always been like, no, like the law, like these people are against us or for us. And you see them get the Robins. You see Kal-El kind of understand that finally go outside the kingdom, like his walls, and see the people of the kingdom and realize that, like, okay, my family isn't perfect. And you're kind of just seeing a little bit of growth from all these characters that is influential to how they became important in Dark Knights of Steel and all those connecting points in their character. But it shows a lot about the backstory that they can't fit into Dark Knights of Steel, essentially. It's really cute. It's a lot of fun. I'm very excited. If you're a Dark Knights of Steel fan, you just want to add these in because it's just more lore for the kingdom. Like Two-Face is in this and Penguin, but they're still just like Cobblepot and Harvey as kids, and Jimmy Olsen's in there as a kid. So there's a lot of like really cool things in this story for just expanding where all of those DC characters fit into the lore of the Dark Knights of Steel over time.
And you see who the artist is on this the main story is Casper Wingard.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was looking at that art and I was like, ooh, okay.
You're like, guess I have to read this now.
Yeah,
if you're not reading Dark Knights of Steel in general, I highly recommend it. Like, it's one of those things where when it was in the previous catalog, I like literally was like, nobody's going to want this. I'm going to order so many of them and I'm never going to sell it. And then I've had to reorder all of the issues because people are constantly like, do you have Dark Knights of Steel? And so it's been great.
Well, I feel like most DC fans realize that books that aren't in continuity anymore usually tend to be the more popular books, and the better storylines for DC.
And all of those things like that right now, like that in DC versus Vampires and stuff like that, they're all written by Tom Taylor, James Tynion, Matthew Rosenberg. Like, you're picking like some all-star people to write these like random off-the-wall titles. So of course they're great.
Yeah.
All right, we got some number ones coming your way. Let's start with New Rat City from Scout. And this is a non-stop, so we're getting issue 1 and then we're jumping to a trade.
Yes. And this is, imagine if all those rats in New York City actually became such a problem that it affected the economy, it affected the people, and now you basically have this city that, like, it's almost like a military state but your military is pest control.
Yeah.
And it's all about trying to remove all of the rats and all the other, like, cockroaches, like everything. Everything's become a problem. Yeah, mosquitoes. And so this kind of follows a young girl who works in pest control. Her name is Felicia, and her dad was once also part of pest control, but is now injured. But still kind of takes part in it. Like, there's this weird, like, they have like almost like a town hall meeting for all the pest people.
It's like the Freemasons almost.
Yeah, yeah. But they're pest control, and basically up until this point, at the beginning of this issue, you learn that they're not allowed to kill.
Yeah.
They basically are just trying to keep them away from the people in the city. And then halfway through this issue, they're like, okay, the problem's so bad, we have to start killing. Mm-hmm. And you kind of have this main character who's never dealt with that and kind of seems uncertain about this change and how they're going to go about it. But there's also some crazy stuff going on. Like, they're starting to see this, I guess, new species of rodents are kind of coming to the surface. Some kind of like alien looking things as
right,
well.
And there's like this, like everything's like evolving to a weird way, but in a weird way, and they all have like this blue glow to them that's like, ooh, what is that? And yeah, and obviously there's like government interference that we're gonna find out about, like some secret underhanded stuff. But I really like this main character. Like,
I do too.
She's a really good main character where I'm like, oh, I really like. I don't want you to be. I want you to be like, you know, tarnished by your, like, you're so good and pure right now, but you're gonna have to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, and I don't know if she's going to. Like, I honestly, I don't know where this story's gonna go outside of the fact that we're gonna have like a giant battle between
bugs and humans.
But I do like the main character. I also like her dad, because he can't travel outside of his home because of an injury, and so he travels around in a drone, but so do a bunch of other people, so it's like they're kind of like all sitting around like gossiping with each other in their drones, and so it's kind of like there's like very small comedic undertones to this. But yeah, this was kind of one of those ones that, like, when I looked at the cover, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. But I do like this premise a lot.
So funny, because when I saw the title, I was like, Phil's going to want to read this. And then I read it, and I was like, Phil's gonna love it. And I mean, I liked it, too. I had the same thought. I was like, I don't know about this one. It's not necessarily, like, it looks like it could go either way. Maybe it's not going to be that great. But then the story, the characters, the way they interacted, like the dad and the daughter, even the daughter and the main character and the old lady who's home, like, she was like all that. Or when she, you know, and there's that scene, though, when they go into the museum, and I was like, oh, man, this is going to be good. And it gets you, like, really, like, hooked for whatever's going to happen. So I'm kind of glad it's a nonstop, because I want to read the whole thing and see where it goes all at one time. But it's a nonstop, so grab issue 1 if you want to check it out, and then let us know, because it's going to be trade form from then on, and we'd have to order you the whole book. So yeah. All the rest of these are number ones. Number 1 from Ahoy Comics is Highball.
Yes, this is essentially if Archer was Adam Strange.
Yeah.
Basically.
That is the best description of this book. It's
very silly. Your main character is an alcoholic who happens to be the best pilot, the best shot. He's also kind of a doofus. Like, he's drinking and playing darts with his friends, and he's not really good at it, and everyone's cussing, and like it's so funny because they say like, what's one of them? Oh yeah, at one of the characters, like, okay, cool ya jets, and it's got the little asterisk next to it, and then it says futuristic slang, and it's like, what? No.
Honestly, to me, I was like, this is what I imagine if we actually went into the future where Booster Gold is a superhero.
Yes.
This is Booster Gold in his future world, where we are supposed to believe now when he comes back in time that he's a good superhero, but he's kind of like a doofus the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're just watching Booster Gold in his actual time frame.
Yeah. And so you have him like go out on this mission, and he's trying to honestly, I don't even know what he's going out into space for. There's a lot of moments in this where you're like, the story itself is kind of...
I was like, I know that one. So they saw something in space that they were like, oh, it looks like there's like a high level of weapons. We need somebody to go out there and like destroy this, it's a hamburger restaurant is what they think, but it's got a high radiation level that sounds like it's got secret weapons or whatever. And then he gets there and there's like a whole sun destroying like black hole, like eats your planet kind of situation going on, like weapon, like that level of weapon there with this race that of aliens that is against humans, and the race that has essentially enslaved humans but tells the humans it's saving them.
Right. And there's also a character that comes in and is talking about the payroll issues.
She reminds me of the one from Monsters, Inc.
Yes.
The lady with the glasses, the slug lady or whatever.
But it's like, he's in the middle of a battle, and they send him this memo about the payroll changes, and one of the characters is like, wait, we have to do math for this? I'm so bad
I'm never
at
getting
math.
paid again.
Yeah.
I thought of you.
Yeah. It's very, very silly. A lot of like goofy comedy in
Ahoy
this.
kind of humor blended into it.
Yeah. I think if you kind of like what Mark Russell was doing with his superhero universe, very much in the same vein, where you're going to get a lot of like really ridiculous, absurd missions. But at the same time, you're going to laugh at this guy because kind of like Archer, like you want to hate him, but at the same time, he's kind of lovable in a weird way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I kind of knew from the cover this is going to be a book I'd enjoy, and then once they kind of started throwing in some of this ridiculous stuff, I was like, okay, cool, I'm on board for this. So yeah, if you like what Ahoy has been doing, which I personally always enjoy Ahoy, yeah, this is another one that you can add to the list of just fantastic books from this publisher. So Highball #1, hopefully, I'm assuming it'll probably be 5 issues.
Yeah, probably something like that. All right, get your tissues ready.
Oh, gosh.
Get your tissues out and ready, because we've got from no publisher, I don't think. It's Alive, the publisher? I guess so, maybe. Yeah. It's Alive, I think, is the publisher, but this is a girl and her dog. And this is the story of a girl who wanted a car for her 15th birthday, not even her 16th birthday, and her parents give her a dog instead. And it jumps to different points in time throughout her life where she needs her dog to kind of get her through things, because the dog becomes her best friend. But obviously your dog doesn't live forever, and neither do you. And this goes through all the points in her life, and no matter what, she's always relying on her dog. Like, it starts and it jumps back and forth. Like, sometimes the dog is really there, but sometimes it's like the ghost of the dog essentially is like what she's remembering, and her sadness is like her dog coming to her. And oh my gosh, this was incredibly not easy for me to read, because there's even a scene where she's in like her hospital room and she's like, oh, I was waiting for you to come, and it's the dog. And like literally that's what Matt's cousin Lauren told us, like their grandpa said right before he died, was like, my dog is here. And so I was like, I can't with this. Yeah. Like, that's too much. You've gone too far. But I love seeing, because we're so obsessed with our pets, and our pets are like our children to us, like both me and you. Like I almost warned you, like, don't read it, because there are so many of those moments. But at the same time, where she's like goes on that date and she's like, well, my dog has to like you. And I'm like, that's so true. Like, if Pumpkin doesn't like somebody, I'm like, well, you're probably a bad person, because Pumpkin is super sweet. And like, or if you don't like Pumpkin, like, people, I've never met somebody who doesn't like Pumpkin, but if somebody told me they didn't like her, I'd be like, well, I don't like you either. So
yeah, this is one of those ones that I definitely teared up at moments in it, because you know, like you said, I mean, I have such a connection to my pet, and I there's so much, like, you know, you see in this, like, the emotional attachment and how much, like, that pet can really help you.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about a girl, this girl had a rough life. Like, bad choices with boyfriends. She gets married and then the husband dies. Like,
I mean, she's older when the husband dies. They have, like, a long life. Because she's talking to the daughter about the husband dying.
Oh, yeah.
It was, like, when she's, like, 67 or something. 77 or something. Like, when the husband... Because she's talking to the daughter, who's already adult, when she's talking about the husband.
I just thought it wasn't that much further.
It's further back. But, yeah, because she's on the phone, and she's, like, an older lady, where she's, like... See, she's, like, old.
Oh, 65.
Yeah, she's, like, 65 when the dad dies. I mean, that's still young. Like... I would be distraught if I was only 65 when Matt died. Like, that would be terrible. But, yeah, and she still is like, oh my gosh, this is, like, it's hard. But that's the same boy. The husband is the same boy. She tells, you have to like, my dog has to like you. So you get to see, like, when they met, the dog and him met for the first time. And I think it's a beautiful story, but you're going to cry the whole way.
Yeah, it was definitely sad, but I enjoyed it. I liked the black and white art. I also liked that it jumped around. You know, it wasn't one story straight through. But yeah, I did really enjoy this book. And I know a lot of people... and I kind of liked the whole, like, throughout it, you don't know when the dog is there, actually, and when it's not. Because there's also a sad scene where she has to put the dog down, and it's just like, oh my god, I can't do this. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I don't think it's gonna be.
No, that's it.
Yeah, I think this was just kind of a one and done. But yeah, if you're looking for something, a short little read that's gonna make you cry like crazy, this is
that's it.
This is that book for sure.
Matt's like, well, I'm gonna cry right now. Let me just go ahead. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then there's pictures of the actual dog in the back of the book that it's based off of. The writer put their pictures.
I didn't show those because it just
makes you cry.
Yeah, start crying again. So.
Seriously, like the scene, like you said, like the scene where she's like deciding about the dog, like it was a lot.
And he was like, "You don't have to be here for this," and she's like, "I have to hold his paw."
And I was like, I can't.
Oh, it's like, oh god.
I know. I cried a lot reading that book. It was emotional.
And Pumpkin brushes up against
and she's trying to like come up here. She's like, you guys sound like you're upset. Do you need me? Yes, we do. We do need always, you, Pumpkin. And she was sitting with me while I read it, and I was like, come here. I'm gonna hold you. It's okay. We've got number 1 from Aftershock. We've got Last Line.
Yes. To me, this is like a British Mission Impossible. Not Mission Impossible. Men in Black. Mm-hmm. So this starts out with a guy who the police believe jumps in front of a train. But we see that he was pushed. And so they start interrogating the lady who is driving the train at the time. And she's basically like, no, there was people who pushed him. They showed her the CCTV, and it's like, nope, there's no one else there. This guy jumped. It's no big deal. And then she starts getting interrogated by an MI6 agent. And this kind of leads you down this path of like, oh, wait, there's a lot more crazy conspiracy type stuff kind of underneath the surface. And you start opening up about aliens. She gets her younger brother involved, who's big into conspiracies. And all of a sudden you find out there's this whole organization that deals with this stuff. And that the guy that was pushed was a big part of... They're called ACT, which is like Alien Conservative Tact... Something. There's a whole like letter that kind of breaks down their history.
Yeah. I like how they just put the letter on the page. They were like, here you go. Just read it.
And so yeah, it's kind of fun because you're just kind of scratching the surface of what's really going on, but it's all tied to what's underneath the city of London.
It's Aftershock. It's probably going to be 4 to 5 issues, probably 5, because it seems like it'll probably be 1 volume. So just to boil it down, this is a season of Torchwood. Like,
I never saw Torchwood.
Torchwood is the agency version of Doctor Who. It's the agency that forms out of Doctor Who. It's Jack Harkness goes and creates. I know you haven't finished your Doctor Who watching, but it spins out of Doctor Who, and it's all the agents who have to deal with this on a regular basis because of all the things that the Doctor brings to our planet. Essentially, this is that. It is a season of Torchwood. It's the agency that has to deal with all the crazy aliens and monsters and things like that. And it's still it even has a guy who's almost dressed exactly like Jack Harkness and has Jack's same personality. So if you are going to read it, just read it in John Barrowman's voice, and it'll make it even more exciting for you. It's very exciting. It does. And even like the way that the creatures are like, that is almost the most ridiculous monster I could imagine in this moment right now is just kind of like a Doctor Who Torchwood kind of moment. This is, if you are fans of Torchwood, you're going to enjoy this.
I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I've never seen Torchwood, but
now you need to know. Now you know you need to watch that.
Yeah, because I enjoyed it. Even like the aliens were like terrier dogs, which is just great. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I was kind of surprised by it. Aftershock tends to be that one that's hit or miss for me.
Yeah. Where
it's like I do really like a lot of their stuff, but sometimes they just miss drastically for me.
I can see that.
But this is one of those ones where I was like, I really enjoy this because there's the other Subway book that's going on.
Code 45.
Yes, Code 45. And so I was a little uncertain how that was going to, that was kind of the standard for this one. But then this goes a completely different route.
It's completely different direction. Route.
And also it's the Alien Clandestine Task Force.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm kind of on board. You're going to start peeling back these layers of what's going on underneath the surface of London. And, I think it's going to be a fun book.
I definitely think Aftershock is on this roll right now, too, though. Like, they have just been hitting book after book after book. Has just been so great. Like, whether it's the horror or the sci-fi side, like, Aftershock's just been nailing it. So many good books coming out.
Yeah.
They used the London Underground font.
They did use the London Underground font.
I did not know that.
Yeah, with the little stars in the thing and everything. Up next from Dark Horse, this is Shock Shop, issue 1. This is the Francavilla. This is the Francavilla variant cover. I say that specifically because this is a flip book, so you flip it over. It's a different cover. This is going to be a new ongoing anthology style book that has a young, like, creature feature kind of thing going on, where we've got a weird, like, macabre comic shop that tells us the stories of all these, like, horror moments, and specifically we are looking. You just read who it's by, didn't you?
I didn't even see the name on the cover.
We are seeing 2 stories in this that take place with different families. So the one side is the story of a dad who's a divorced parent. He's trying to get himself on his feet and get that house that his kids can actually come visit him in and be proud of him and see what he's doing. And as far as he knows, he has rented a magical home and everything is good and wonderful, and it leaves us on this cliffhanger of us seeing things that he cannot see there. Or can he?
That's the thing. At the end, I was kind of like, wait a second.
Does he know or does he not know?
Because the kids are very much like, Dad, this house is haunted. And he's like, no, it's magical. And he kind of starts naming these creatures. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, do you know what's going on? Are you in on this?
Because as a reader, I now know what it is. And it's like, ooh, maybe you don't. Maybe, don't show them what it is. It also reminded me, because, like, literally just yesterday I posted to my Instagram story. I don't know if you saw this meme that's like, Dad, can we go to a haunted house this year? And the dad goes, what's wrong with the one we live in? And the son goes, what? And the dad's like, what? Good night, son. I was like, that's how I feel about this book. Like, can we go to a haunted house this year? What's wrong with the one you live in? And then the flip side is the story of this group of people who go camping, and they're all brought there by their friends who are a couple who... It sounds like one guy got in a lot of trouble for doing a bunch of illegal activity, and the wife's solution to that was to cheat on him. And now they're like, hey, let's work it out by going camping.
Yeah.
Matt, don't ever do that. If you ever want to work out problems in our life, I don't want to go camping with all of our friends. It'll only make it worse. And they are in the woods and things go bad, as one would expect by being in the woods. So you're getting 2 stories. Neither story concludes. Both are going to be the ongoing stories for this for at least a while. Who knows how long, and who knows how they'll end.
Yeah, this is a writer that we always complain about, who tends to not be able to flesh out his stories very well. And now not only is he doing 1 story, but now he's going to do 2.
However, both stories already seem way more fleshed out in their first issues than I would have expected. I did the same thing you did. I didn't look at who wrote it, and then I read it, and I was like, oh, these are good stories. And then I was like, ooh, am I going to be...
But that's how Cullen Bunn works. In the first few issues, you're like, wow, this has so much potential to be great. And then by the 4th or 5th issue, you're like...
I think they're going to be like 2 issues and then it's going to switch. Okay. I don't think that either of these stories need to go on for super long. So I think really it's going to be like you were talking about last week, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or Creep Show or Tales from the Crypt or any of those. I think it's going to be like 2 issues, tells the whole story, and then you move to the next story. Which Cullen Bunn is a great horror writer and a great storyteller, but he does take on too many things and then they kind of suffer towards the end. So recently, in the past, that was not the case. And so I'm hoping that that's what this is, because if he just had like those 2 like issues to like knock it out and tell us this great story, he can do that. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that's what we're getting. Although I will say Parasomnia is still really good and we're on issue 5 essentially. So, but I'm hoping that's what we get, because this is on track to be a really, really good series. It does have more of a creative team. It's like not all just, it seems like it's not all just on him either. Yeah. So I'm hoping that actually helps as well. Because is he got a writing partner too, or is it just him writing?
I think it's just him writing and then different artists.
That could be the case.
Yeah, he scripted it, and then Danny Luckert is the writer or the artist on 1. And then it is him and Layla Lays is the art on the 2nd one.
And that beautiful Francavilla cover. Let's just once again take a moment to admire the greatness that is Francavilla.
Always.
100%. I have a problem when I'm doing orders. If I see Francavilla, I'm like, I'm going to order 6 of this cover. And then I'm like, okay, that's like cover H. Do I need 6 of cover H? And I'm like, probably. Let's just give it a cover A. Nobody cares. Francavilla made a cover, right? And then I'm like, don't just order what you want.
Shannon, and I feel like he's done a lot more covers.
Absolutely.
This year. I feel like we've seen a lot of his covers. But I mean, look,
because he's also doing all the Star Wars Adventures covers, like,
that's right.
Nobody's even talking about those, but like the Vader's Castle and all of those, like, oh my God, Francavilla has done some incredible covers on those. Those Vader's Castle covers have been so freaking good.
It almost makes me want him to do a Darth Vader book.
I would love to see a full Darth Vader book. Now, you do know that he's got a book coming out with Scott Snyder, right?
I do.
Night of the Ghoul. Yes. It is one of the Scott Snyder like digital release first, and Dark Horse is putting it out, as with We Have Demons. So that is coming out. I just did the order for it last week. I'm very, very excited because it's Francavilla and Scott Snyder. I can't really ask for much more than that in a book. I think it's going to be, especially a horror book, I think it's going to be fantastic. And it's another one of those where it's like, We Have Demons, exactly, where they're like, for the first time on an indie book together. And because like when I saw that with We Had Demons, I was like, Greg Pulo and Scott Snyder do everything together, but they hadn't actually done an indie book. And now it's like, for the first time on an indie book, and it's Scott Snyder and Francavilla, and it's like, oh yeah, because they did Black Mirror together, but that's Batman. Yeah. So it's like Scott's working with some of his like best artists on indie books now, and it's super cool to see them kind of get to work on their own thing together.
Is it part of, what was that newsletter company? Is that still a thing?
Substack?
Is that still a thing?
Kind of, yes. But no, Scott's have been Comixology releases.
Oh, that's right. He's Comixology.
Scott's are Comixology. Okay. He has a Substack for like his classes and stuff, but his releases have been Comixology. Okay. So, speaking of great horror characters, No.
Yes, of course.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch is celebrating her 60th anniversary this year. Congratulations, Sabrina. And this is actually one of the biggest spec books of the week because there is a brand new character in this issue. Amber Nightstone, and so Amber is introduced.
I love that name.
If you, which it's the Elsa Bloodstone of dogs. They always name their characters something similar to Marvel characters.
I love Elsa Bloodstone.
But this is if you're Sabrina, there's always some hijinks that comes with her magic, and we find out that if on a character's birthday, a witch's birthday who lives in the mortal world. The witches who didn't get the choice to live in the mortal world, who are also half mortal, half witch, have the chance to take their place. And so Amber's Nightstone comes in to try to battle Sabrina. And we see that story in the first half of it. We don't see a lot of new characters in the Archie world. And every time we do, they end up becoming a part of the story later on, and it becomes a big thing. I was just talking to Josh about this the other day, and he was like, when was Cheryl introduced? And I was like, 1982. And he was like, in my lifetime, Cheryl Blossom came in. I'm like, yeah, do you want to see it? I don't know where any of my comics are, but if you want to see it, I have first Cheryl Blossom in comics. He was like, oh my God, that's so cool. We're psychotically huge Archie fans, if you guys didn't know that. Matt and I. But yeah, so it's 60th anniversary of Sabrina. We got a new character. I'm very excited to see where this goes. And then you get a bunch of reprints of other old Sabrina comics in the back. But you get Salem in here. It's great. My favorite thing is actually that she's watching Riverdale on the cover. It's an homage to one of the old Dan DeCarlo covers, but it's done with her watching Riverdale. And this news story is, of course, done by Dan Parent, who has done pretty much all of Archie. If you were born in the 80s on, Dan Parent has pretty much been your Archie artist that entire time, and writer. So it's super cool to see, and then get some of those old favorites in there. Another thing, speaking of Archie, that's coming out this year, and if you want it, you need to tell me now, but the Kevin Keller Omnibus is actually getting released by Diamond. It was Kickstarted by
Really?
Dan Parent, and it is actually getting released through Archie, and so far I only have the one I ordered for myself, so if you want one, you need to tell me. Okay.
Because I almost backed the Kickstarter as well.
No,
and then I ended up passing on it because it was a bit more expensive at the time.
Yeah.
It was one of those where I was like, oh, I don't really have this money at this moment, so I'm going to wait. I'm glad they're actually going to put that out, though.
They are going to put the omnibus out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Where's my book?
Your Sabrina, should be on that pile underneath the table. It was right there.
Yeah, thanks to y'all, I've become a big Archie fan.
Which I love that. Matt and I don't have room in our home for all of our Archies. It was over there somewhere. I don't know.
Well, there was a point. I came over one day, and Matt just started handing me all these Archie digests, and I was like, "Oh, I can't take these." And he's like, "No, seriously, we don't have space. These are duplicates. Just please take them. Get rid. I need them out of here."
For Christmas one year, Matt gave me 75 Archie Digest comics.
That's awesome.
And
I love them. They're great because you can carry them around. All the ones I have are beat up already.
Yeah.
I just throw them in a bag and I'll just
That's
pull
what
them
they're
out.
for, yeah.
Your back pocket.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you just I'll be sitting there in line somewhere and I'll be like, oh, I'll read a quick little Archie story.
We've talked about this before on this show, but I grew up a huge Archie fan because I lived on Riverdale Street. So I actually thought that I lived where they lived.
Yeah.
And I was always very confused as a child that they weren't there. I was like, where are all of these characters? Where's Archie? Where's Jughead? Where are, Betty and Veronica? And then, I kind of just became Betty because I didn't know. But this is actually the 60th anniversary Sabrina oversized that they made.
Oh, did they just put this out?
Yes, this also came out this week. This is 60 magical stories for Sabrina. It's over 500 pages of Sabrina comics. So,
does this feature any of the chilling stuff?
Probably not. This is going to be your regular digest stories.
What is this?
If you guys don't know, Sabrina's Digest stories don't come in very frequently. You can buy a World of Archie, and you might get one with Sabrina in it, you might get one with Josie, you might get one with Cherry Blossom, and the rest are going to be Archie, Jughead, Betty Brown.
Yeah.
Gosh,
And
what's going on?
Phil is loving this over here, but it's 60 years, and it's incredible that
That's super cool.
the Archie characters have been around for so long, and it's so great that Sabrina has made it to 60 years, and I think we're going to continue to love it. And, I'm just going to say it. Shout out to Melissa Joan Hart, because that show, like, if you go back and if you
Put Sabrina into mainstream for sure.
Yeah, and if you read Sabrina's Digest comics and then you watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch first, like, 3 seasons, like when she's actually in high school before all the college crap. But if you watch the first 3 seasons of Sabrina and you read the Digest, there are like actual literal scenes from the Digest that are put directly and homaged in the show. Like, that show is a great adaptation of the Archie spirit and the actual Sabrina comics. And so I just like, Melissa Joan Hart is never going to see this, but I love that show. I love what Melissa did. Like, I feel like Melissa read a bunch of like Sabrina comics and like actually understood the assignment for that show. It was great, and the Salem on it is perfect. I wanted to get, he does cameos, that voice actor that does Salem does cameos, and I almost bought one for the cat because she's obsessed with Salem the cat, and I've literally considered it multiple times to buy her a cameo from Nick.
Has Kelly Thompson from the graphic novel.
Oh, and the new Sabrina that Kelly Thompson did, which was great. I don't know if you read that, but that was really good.
Which one was it?
The new Sabrina that came out not that long ago.
No, I haven't read that one yet.
It's good. I need to get more copies for the store. Sabrina is a great comic, and Archie in general. If you're not reading Archie comics, grab some Digest, check them out. We've got hundreds of them in the store.
They're cheap too. That's what really was the big appeal for me. Is how cheap
the single issues are $2.99 if you ever want to do it. And we always get the holiday specials for the single issues, and the Digest are hundreds of pages of comics for. Anywhere from $6 to $8.99, depending on where we are in the size. So, yeah. Ram says, I used to watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch on ABC's TJF. Yes, that was the best. It was the best show. I loved it so much.
When Nigel and I lived together, we both set out a bunch of Digest onto the coffee table. And so every once in a while, I'd just be sitting there watching TV and I'd just pick one up and start reading it. And, yeah, they're really, they're a ton of fun. It's kind of like that classic humor. Mm-hmm. But I love it because they're so silly. They're just, sometimes you're just like, what is this?
The other day, Josh goes, okay, they don't really have as many car accidents in them as Matt says they do, right? Because according to Matt, there's a car accident in like every Archie book. And I was like, no, that's actually pretty frequent. I was like, no, somebody does drive through something in every other Digest story. It's pretty regular.
Yeah.
All right. We could talk about Archie all night. From Ablaze Comics, we have the Boogeyman #1. I'm going to say if you're a fan of James Tynion's The Closet, you should probably grab this because this is going to be in that same a little vein. But this is the story of a young boy who is convinced that the Boogeyman is real. His family doesn't agree. He checks out books at the library that are about the Boogeyman, and one day his family is attacked, and he thinks the only thing that he can do to save himself is call on the Boogeyman. You know what it actually reminds me of more than The Closet is it reminds me of the Babadook. Like the feel of the way they like move through the shots. It has like almost the thing is going to come out of the closet, and it probably reflects something different, but it feels cinematically the way it moves almost like the Babadook, even though the Closet is actually probably a closer parallel in narrative. This feels visually like the Babadook at times.
I enjoyed this one. Horror is one of those genres that because mentally I'm such a wuss when it comes to this stuff. I easily have nightmares. I kind of stay away from it, but usually when you're like, hey, you got to read this one. And I really enjoyed this one. I kind of like where they're taking this story of, there's a bunch of different nightmarish creatures, and they're not all on the same side. you know, and there's kind of some like history and lore behind all of this
Right,
stuff.
we get a character called Father Death.
Yeah, and he's such a badass.
I'm
He's
the
so
opposite of Phil. I want all the horror, which is why he waits for me to tell him to read
Yeah.
it. And this one, I was like, did you read The Boogeyman? And he was like, no, and like waves it off. And I was like, we're not starting the show until you read The Boogeyman. And he was like, okay. Like, it's at the end over here because it was literally like, for me, it could have been a pick of the week. Like, I was very excited about the lore that it's creating around these boogeymen. Like, it gives us the text from the book he checked out of the library.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to everything is to go to the library. And the fact that, like, we actually get a scene from a page of a book from the library, I'm like, ooh, where is this going? And it has that Miyazaki film kind of character where we've got the old lady that it's like, oh, this old lady is definitely a danger. Like, whatever she is, whoever she is, and then she's got owls, and so I already don't trust her. Like, this whole scene, I was like, I'm 100% in for all of this terror that is going to come. And Ablaze really brings me a lot of strong characters. Also, Ablaze did Animal Castle, not Behemoth. That's why the lettering was different. Just thought I would bring that back to the earlier conversation. But yeah, I'm 100% in for wherever this book goes. Because like I said, it does kind of have like a Bob Duke and a closet and even almost a basket full of heads where you have that like slasher movie feel at one point. Like you get a little bit of all of the different genres of horror. And you just kind of wonder, like, which one are you going to follow? Which path of the horror movie world are we going down? And when can I get a haunted house at Universal Studios based on this comic book? That's just all I'm wondering.
Yeah. No, I was pleasantly surprised by this one. You know, as a child who was terrified of the boogeyman growing up, it's kind of cool to see that, like, there's this one boogeyman that's kind of a protector against all the other evil in this world. So I'm kind of hoping we also get to see a bunch of like different boogeymen.
Mm-hmm. And we will.
And like there's going to be like the underground like Court of Owls type of like,
yeah,
you know.
Well, and they even say it like, oh, you called them all in.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, we are going to see so many boogeymen and they're all going to be super cool. And I can't wait. This is like my new monster universe that I'm sold on. So like, honestly, we're about to jump into picks of the week, so if you're looking for like books that we highly recommend, I highly recommend grabbing The Boogeyman. This is definitely, let's just call it a pick of the week from me, because I want you to jump in on Boogeyman right now, and I want you to have that like fear of the Boogeyman, yet like the trust of him. Like this is, the book nails it perfectly, because I'm like, don't go with that. Don't go with him though.
Yeah.
Like he's still a boogeyman. Like what are we doing? Why are we following this like man? Like, and he's still scary, but at the same time, he almost also just has that like neighbor guy on Home Alone feel where it's like you guys have built him up to be scary and maybe he's not actually scary at all. He actually kind of looks like the old man from the Home Alone 2, like the Home Alone as well,
mm-hmm.
not Home Alone 2. But yeah, I'm in. Boogeyman, Ablaze. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, this was one that I was pleasantly surprised by the end, where I was like, okay, I'm really intrigued by where this is gonna go.
This sits awkwardly on my stack. So since we're talking about picks of the week, let's just go with let's get burgers.
Yes.
Which cheeseburgers are always my pick of the week. Whether or not the book always is, it is. But if it wasn't even, cheeseburgers are still a pick of the week no matter what. I married Jughead, so.
Yeah, so this is a webcomic. This is the entire bit of it. And this is a cat named Knife and a dog named Cheddar. They're best friends. They love burgers. And they hate capitalism.
Yeah.
Which is...
it's my life.
Yeah.
I love burgers and I hate capitalism and what it does to society. But also, this is just the cutest book. It is...
Yeah, it's really adorable, but also kind of like dark, but like dark humor a little bit throughout it. But most of the time it's like, oh, I got this horrible job, but now I have money to buy burgers.
Yeah.
You know, or, oh, I just got this pet and it's some like demonic creature. Let's go get burgers.
I love that the cat gets hired. The cat's name's Knife. Knife gets hired at a printing company and then becomes like the mascot, like printer cat.
Yeah.
And then they fire the cat, they fire Knife, and then they put a listing in for a printer cat, and he's like, what, maybe I should go apply for this job. And Cheddar's like, that's the job you got fired from. He's like, yeah, but I'm entirely qualified for it. And then he goes to apply, and they're like, why do you think you're qualified? He's like, well, I've been doing this for you for the last like 3 months. And they're like, we've never heard of you before. And now it's a stapler company, and they're like, do you like staplers? And he's like, I have 37 of them. And I'm like, I love this, because that's literally, we were just talking about a meme on the internet last night that said, why I'm not going to write a cover letter anymore, because why should I submit fan fiction to why I want to work for your company? And so I was laughing, because I was like, this is essentially what Knife is doing right now, is writing fan fiction. But it's so cute. It's that classic webcomic, but also what I've come to expect from Silver Sprocket as a publisher. Like, this is the stuff that Silver Sprocket picks up. They pick up those kind of dark humor and vignettes. Those like vignettes of what life is like for everybody. And there's a whole thing like, oh, I'm really sad, and one of the characters is like, I'm sad, and the other one's like, do you want me to kick your ass? And they're like, yeah, like kick my ass into gear. And then there's like four or five webcomics later, the character's like, oh, I'm really sad. It's like, want me to kick your ass? And it's like, no, I need a hug. And then it just shows them hug. And I'm like, this is just such a great way to show interaction between two people. Because sometimes you're like, yes, get me back into shape. I'm sucking. I need you to push me like to do better. And sometimes you're like, no, I'm just sad and I want to sit here and be hugged right now. And their friendship is perfect, and I love it. And they eat cheeseburgers as a solution to everything. And that's how I feel about life too.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those that I think is worth picking up. I mean, there's so many webcomics that get produced every year, and I feel like so many really great things get pushed under the rug because not a lot of people have caught on to webcomics, or they're kind of turned off by the idea. And so I like that a lot of these publishing companies are going out and putting them together into these little collections. I mean, there's a ton of these in here, and they're real quick reads, but I mean, you know, very much like an Archie digest, you know, set this on your table.
And just read it when you're bored.
Yeah, and every once in a while, if you're like sitting there and you're like, oh, I'm tired of watching this TV show that I've been binge watching, you know, it's just something kind of fun. Put it on your coffee table, friends will read it. And they'll be like, wow, it's so weird how much I connect with this book in a weird way. And also, I want a cheeseburger.
Yeah, the back of it actually says they just finished their cheeseburgers, and Knife is like, I'm still hungry, and Cheddar says, me too. And that is what happens every time Matt and I get cheeseburgers. We finish our cheeseburger, and I'm like, I'm kind of still hungry. And Matt's like, me too. I could eat 6 more burgers.
I had 2 burgers for lunch today that I made at home. And as I was driving over here, I passed by a Burger King, and I was like, I could do an Impossible Whopper.
I could always do an Impossible
I didn't
Whopper.
because, I was just like, it's probably not a good idea. But, I'm always down for burgers and cats and dogs. Like, best friends are a cat and a dog. Like, you can't go wrong.
And I feel like Everything Sucks is the sequel to this book.
Yeah, very much so. Where it's just like, you're going to sit there and be like, wow, it's crazy how much my life can suck sometimes. But maybe a cheeseburger will help make it better. It's got the little, raised letters, which is always nice.
I love it. It's a nice production on that book. Silver Sprocket nails it with their production.
They're great.
All of their books.
They've always been great.
They just are wonderful, and I would actually like, the next time I'm in the Pacific Northwest, I want to stop by their store, because they do have their own comic book store as well. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so I would love to stop by and check it out sometime.
Matt's already laughing.
If you need to know how good Let's Get Burgers.
There's a lot of foul language.
There is a lot. It's not for kids. It's for adults. That's it. You know what? We're drinking wine. It's 11 o'clock at night or whatever.
It's fiber. Fiber is good for you, right?
Yeah. And he's like, let me look it up. And then Knife is already like, too late. It's just me talking to Pumpkin. I have fake flowers that I put in the bathroom, and Pumpkin's like eating them, and I'm like, Pumpkin, we don't eat fake flowers. And she's like, we don't. Like, up next from Black Caravan is Blade in the Dark issue 1. Ram, if you're still watching, I already put this in your box, just so you know, because this is definitely a Ram title. You're going to love it. But this is one that I was like, on the art alone, this could be a pick of the week. And Phil was like, yeah, but did you read the story? So jump in.
Yeah, this was the second book I read. The first book is another one of my picks of the week. And then I read this one and was like, oh, this is also obviously a pick of the week. It is Blade in the Dark. It's a Black Caravan, which I kind of was surprised by because it doesn't really feel
Black Caravan-ish.
like it does have it, but at first I was like, this may not really fit into the vibe. But this is about a samurai who his village was destroyed by these masked men that he's not certain who they are or where they came from. But all he knows is that he must seek revenge, which I always love. I love a good samurai revenge story. And then you just have this beautiful black and white art that is just so good to look at. Like the action sequences with the samurai look really great. It immediately made me want to just go watch a bunch of like old school samurai movies. But the cool thing is this kind of has some like supernatural elements to it. There's aliens. There's kind of this like a cult in a way that's kind of leading behind all of this. But yeah, this just kind of ticks all the boxes for me in terms of what to expect. And honestly, I didn't even know looking at the cover. I just immediately picked it up. And then you get to this page here with kind of like the reveal of the alien. And I was like, whoa, wait, what the fuck am I reading here? This is not at all what I was expecting. But yeah, I'm fully on board. There's some side characters at the beginning of this quest that you're already like, yeah, I'm really interested to know more about these characters. But yeah, I mean, like these action panels here, I think just look so great in black and white. But yeah, this is just one of those books that I was pleasantly surprised by, and it's like I already want issue 2. I just want to see this samurai go around. His name's Rook too, which makes me kind of start immediately thinking about like, you know, is this going to be similar to like a
chess master?
Yeah, you know, is this going to be one of those ones where like you're watching something go down, but really there's other things going on, and this is just kind of a world that I want to live in. If you're going to mix the science fiction with samurai, and I remember after the Prey movie came out,
I still haven't seen it.
I won't spoil it, but you know, there was kind of this talk of like, well, what if there is a Predator movie in all these different moments in history, and everyone immediately was like, I want to see Predator fight a samurai, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of what everyone wants to see.
Right.
And you kind of get that here. I think you're going to get a lot of that. But yeah, this book is so fantastic.
I'm watching you flip through this, and I'm like, this is one of those moments where I'm going to say don't judge a book by its cover. Because you look at the cover, and it does not give you, you know, we talk about this a lot. Cover artists are not the same artist on the interior a lot. But even when they are, they kind of, a lot of it gets graphic design to be something that's like, they think will make you pick it up.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not getting this on the cover of this book. And when I picked it up, I was like, I don't know what this is. It's a samurai book. It looks like it's got aliens. I don't know. I don't care. It's Black Caravan. I'm going to enjoy it. It's probably going to end up in a pick of the week just because it's Black Caravan. And then but you see things like this cool inside of it. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is
the supposed
beautiful
villain right here. It looks, I'm just stoked. I'm so stoked.
It's so gorgeous to just look at, and the way that they use shadows and the lighting on this black and white, because a lot of times with black and white art, it falls flat because they don't do the shading enough to give you the layers that you need. And this book just does such a good job using shadows in this black and white to show you the monsters, to show you the fear, and to just give you those elevated facial expressions on these characters. It's phenomenally done. Like I said, the art alone would have been worth it, but it's a good story too. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm fully on board for this one. It didn't take much. I mean, I think it was like that second page that first page that I show where he's like riding across. It's just like I'm fully on board, and it really just took the art. But yeah, like you said, I mean, I saw that cover and I was like, this cover's kind of bad.
But the story and the art are great.
Yeah, everything inside is 100%. I'm down for.
Ram said, Shannon, you know me well. Ram, I try. And seriously, when I looked inside of this book this week, I was like, oh my god, Ram needs to read this. Anybody I know who loves samurai is going to love the way this art plays into the samurai storytelling. It's going to be so good. So I hope you enjoy it. It'll be on your invoice this week.
I want this to be turned into like an A24 movie.
Oh, I could see that for sure.
I would love to see that.
All right, we're going opposite end of the spectrum here but still Scout with Bush Leaguers #1. And is this a nonstop?
It is.
It is a nonstop. So it'll go straight to trade after this. And I can't wait to get it in my hands.
This was the first book I read.
Is it really?
This was the first one I picked up. I mean, I saw
baseball.
I saw the baseball stuff, and I
ordered it for the baseball.
I was like, of course, I'm gonna want to read this, and immediately within like the first couple of pages, I'm immediately sold. Just on the dialogue alone, some of the like goofy words that they use is just ridiculous. After I show this page, I'll try and find some of the words that really stood out to me. But this is basically the story of a baseball team that's not really good. It's kind of like your ragtag group of guys who are thrown together.
You put guys in quotes because...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to give that one away.
Well, they haven't told us one way or another, but I'm just going to assume.
Yeah, you kind of figure it out towards the end that one of these characters may be pretending just to be a part of the team. But there was some really goofy... Like, there's this one character who's up to bat who is the son of the owner. And he gets a strike and he's like, this is the worst. I've seen better umpires, and Dad, tell them to stop. They're making a fool of me. And like, it's
and then Dad's like, who is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love the dad. He's like asleep, like while he's yelling, and he has to like literally use like the bifocals to check to see who it is. And they're like, "It's your son, sir." And he's like, "Oh, that guy." Oh, yeah. That's terrible.
But yeah, it's just kind of like you have this team that's clearly bad, and then they lead to a brawl, and it turns out that that's just all they really do. Is every game they end up fighting.
And Teddy Roosevelt is the character.
Yes.
And he's trying to clean up the city because he wants to go down in history as the definition of what a macho man is.
Yes.
Which is great because obviously that's what so many people rely on Teddy Roosevelt for. And he's trying to clean up the city, and he's like, everything is great except for this baseball team.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. What is the story, the DreamWorks movie that we watched, Matt, the one about Babe Ruth's bat. What was it called? Hero's Journey? No. It was...
Everybody's Hero.
Everybody's Hero. I don't know if you saw that, but it is Babe Ruth's bat is played by Whoopi Goldberg in it. And it is a story of a kid who's trying to like get the bat back to the babe. But the way that the illustration of this and the ragtagness of it kind of feels like this is the adult version of that movie. Yeah. Because it has that same like, oh, we're going in the most ridiculous way possible right now, and yet it works really well for this story. And I didn't think I would be into it, but here we are. And like your villains are like the worst like people in the baseball industry, and it's like, oh, I love it because it's baseball.
I mean, that was kind of the first appeal to this, and then just like all these really absurd characters. Like you have a guy on the team who's a grifter, and like when he's not playing baseball, he's out doing like card tricks and scamming
like the
people,
Find the Queen, like,
out of their money. And it's great too because the owner is like, I'm canceling the team, and then he realizes that
the stadium is what's worth money and not the team.
Well, no, if the insurance for the stadium And so he's like, we'll have a giant fireworks spectacle after the game, and it'll be glorious.
It's like literal mustache twirling, like while they say it, and it's great. And then you get, of course, the kid who just always wanted to play baseball, and he's like, I just want to try out for essentially the Yankees, who we're not going to talk about today because I'm more mad at them than ever because I'm a Rays fan. But essentially, they're the Yankees, and
okay, but hold on. As a non-Yankees fan, but as an Aaron Judge fan, you have to be rooting for him.
Yes, because he's so close. He's so close to a new record. I have to be rooting for Aaron Judge. He's doing a great job hitting home runs. That's what he does. I am always rooting for Aaron Judge, but I'm also always rooting for anybody who has charities for children. Let's be honest, Kiermaier also has one, and we lost today as the Rays, so I can be upset. But Aaron Judge is getting really close to hitting that record, and I'm very excited for him. That is great. Phil and I could do an entire show that's just talking about baseball. So
it's funny because right before the show started, Matt was like, I think Shannon knows more about baseball than I do now. And I was like, all right, well, I guess all my baseball conversations are going to be with Shannon.
I was like, I think I knew more about baseball with you before, but as somebody who played softball for 13 years, I think I was like highly qualified to have the baseball conversation from the beginning. But yeah, I watch every day. I go to sleep with the Rays game on from whatever game there was that day, and I'm like, I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago. I don't know. All time blends together because we're trying to open the store right now. But a couple of nights ago, and by night I mean 6 a.m. I was like, hey, we're down by 5 games to being first right now. And Matt's like, are we?
Close.
And I'm like, we're closing in, but we're playing the Yankees right now, who is number 1. And the Yankees realized that they were also getting close, and now we've been slaughtered by the Yankees the last couple of days, but here we are. That's a baseball conversation for Phil and I's other show that'll definitely start. But read Bush Leaguers.
Yeah, it's a fun book.
It's a fun
book.
book.
Kids?
No.
Big text.
It's not for kids though. It's very much.
It definitely feels like it with the art style,
but it is for adults who kind of remember that baseball is like this love that they had as a child, but they need an adult concept. It's like if you followed the guy that's following them in Hero's Journey and like his team, and you just saw all the terrible things that he did, because it's too many adult concepts for it to be good for kids.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. This is eating a sweet paprika, so I'm putting it in the picks of the week, which I've never done before. But I'm putting it in there. Good luck showing anything because it's Mirko and Doffo. So you can like barely open this book. But I have been talking about with all of the Yolanda Zandolfini books that we need more romantic comedies in comic books because we have all the other genres, but we don't really have a lot of romance comics. Mirko and Doffo is giving us a lot of romance comics in weird ways, and this is definitely one of them. Mirko always does these angels and demons stories, and some of them have been known for just being kind of like sex driven. And so I thought that's what this was going to be. And it kind of at the same way is a little bit, because it is a demon character, and really the fact that they're angels and demons doesn't come into play in the story at all. But we have a demon who is running a publishing company, and she's just trying to get people to take her seriously as a female in the publishing industry. So she's kind of an asshole to everybody because she thinks that is what it takes to be the CEO of a company as a woman. You have to just be an asshole or nobody takes you seriously. And the sad truth is that even when you're an asshole, then everybody just labels you a bitch and they don't take you seriously anyway. Because it's impossible, no matter which way you go. But she is just trying to do that, and in the process, she's like promoting this book that's called Spice It Up, and it's now got an option for a movie, and she realizes that she thinks that the guy that runs the production company for the movie is like the hottest demon on the planet. But she's never been good at sexual relationships because her dad, who is also a devil, thinks that sex is bad and has made her feel guilty about sex her entire life. So she ends up trying to go have sex lessons essentially with the delivery boy, who's an angel who everybody wants to have sex with all the time because he's super hot. So she starts dating him and trying to figure out how to get comfortable with sex. And in classic romantic comedy, she finally gets what she wants, and it's not what she wants. she's already fallen in love with the angel boy that's just the classic delivery boy. And so you get all the hijinks of a romantic comedy and the attempts to figure it out and the great, beautiful growth of a character who's like, hey, you know what? It turns out like being an asshole wasn't going to get me what I wanted. It didn't get me anywhere. Hiding who I was didn't get me anywhere. Trying to be what everybody else thought I should be never got me somewhere. And I just want to live my life the way I want to live my life and find love and be happy along the way. I love this book. This is one of those books where when people would buy it, I would get mad that we didn't have it and I would order another one because I was so obsessed with it. Like this, I didn't expect to fall in love with this book as hard as I did, but if you like romantic comedies, you need to read this book. And if you're into the publishing industry also, like if this is really good. Like if you liked Notting Hill even, where it's like the book person and the movie person and all the like adaptation, like all the connection and all of that, like it's that kind of romantic comedy.
Yeah.
It just also like has to do with sex and stuff. Like, and you know, Alice in Leatherland is one of my like top romantic comedies. It's what made me love Yolanda Zandolfini. Like I freaking love like, you know, all of those books that came after that. This kind of falls in that same vein of we need to stop separating sex and romance and how like, and realize that they can be the same thing, and also maybe like stop telling female characters that sex isn't on the table for them.
Yeah.
And this is a freaking fantastic romantic comedy, and we all need more romantic comedies in our comic books, and Mirko and Doffel is creating them, and we're missing them. So grab them. Read Sweet Paprika. I'm sure a trade will be coming soon, and if not, I will happily get you issues if you just want to live in a hilarious, adorable romantic comedy. It's freaking hilarious the whole way through. I laughed out loud every issue, every time. So, and then lastly with picks of the week, we've got issue 2 of Survival Street from Dark Horse. Issue 1 was the pick of the week. Issue 2 is pick of the week. Let's just go ahead and say issue 3 is probably going to be pick of the week too, because this book is great. Tell them why you like it, Phil, because I was here for issue 1 and you weren't. So.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to read issue 1 until today. But this is one of those books that I follow Dark Horse on Facebook, and they were hyping this book up. And being a fan of puppets and Sesame Street and all the wonderful things that brought to me as a child, I knew this was going to be great. This is basically the story of a group of Muppets, or puppets. They don't like to use that word. They're felt Americans is the correct, is the appropriate term. And it's basically these group of puppets who are going around and fighting corporate America, which really sucks.
Because the government has now ordained that corporations can count as a person.
Yes,
and therefore can run for office.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the most important part of that whole story, because it shows how far we take capitalism tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We're that
and so this issue, the first issue is in Florida, which is kind of funny. This issue takes place in Texas, and basically in the state of Texas, everyone, basically gun rights are just like in favor of everyone, to the point now where they have made it a law that gun rights start at conception. And so it's like the governor of Texas handing over a gun to a small baby.
And the baby's like putting the gun in its mouth and like chewing on it, and they're like, see, this is the America we want.
Yeah. And
Texas.
so then, of course, the puppets show up and decide that they are going to destroy the WRA instead of the NRA. And they're going to kind of show that this is not the way to go about it. But it's also cool, too, because you get Herbert's backstory.
And Herbert's basically Super Grover.
Yes. And he had a different name in the first issue, and then it changed.
He's
not
Captain. Oh my God! It's something about being like cordial to people, and then it becomes like Captain Corporal, as in corporal punishment, or something like that.
Yeah, but
it's Super Grover.
You kind of get his backstory as well. And of course, it's Americans going into a foreign country and completely abusing their power and draining all of the resources.
It's the Blood Diamond story.
Yeah. And it's basically like, oh, your city's now on fire because of all of our bad stuff, but good luck to you. And this was kind of the beginning of him being like, oh, corporations suck. And that's basically the overall story of Survival Street, is that corporations and corporate America are all garbage. None of these people are good people. And we're going to take them down.
But Muppets are fantastic.
Yes.
That's what you get out of the story. So watch Sesame Street. Brought to you by people like you.
But yeah, this book is everything that I could have asked for, and it's Dark Horse.
Oh man, that hardcover is gonna kill you.
That's gonna be a pick of the week as well. Once they put out the hardcover,
The series isn't even over yet, but he can already tell you that the hardcover.
And they say that they're gonna introduce a new character in issue 3.
Yes.
And it's all about the environment. So you have Milo is going to be in issue 3.
And I love that Elmo meme is essentially used in this. Like, because they don't call them any of the things, but they're all actually just almost completely lifted out of Sesame Street. Like, even where he's from is basically Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the Galapagos Islands mixed with Snuffleupagus. Like, it's like
Snuffleupagus?
It's like Snuffleupagus and Galapagos Islands mixed together is like the name of where he's from. But he's not a Snuffleupagus at all. He's more of Super Grover. But it's nice that they use like the Snuffleupagus as like an option.
It's Manam Snuffleupagus Island.
Snuffleupagus Islands. So it's Galapagos and Snuffleupagus mixed together. I'm a huge Sesame Street obsessed human, so this is great for me because I'm like they even talk about like, you know, they have their human person that's supposed to be like all the characters that are on Sesame Street, which I've met like the original Maria from Sesame Street.
Really?
Oh my god,
wow.
don't it was a moment I cried.
Okay.
But Sesame Street is the best, and the fact that we're like taking Sesame Street and it's like, oh, the world is like on fire and we need to do more and we need to be like almost radical in our movements. Like, what would the Muppets have to say about this? And it's like, this is what the Muppets have to say, and I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's go, Muppets. I'll drive the car.
Felt Americans. They
are Felt Americans. Let's go. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is
always a pick of the week.
Yeah, this is one of the best books on the shelf, and it's going to continue to be that way.
Absolutely.
Until the very end, more than likely, because they're gonna talk more about some of the backstories of these characters, and there's a lot.
You're back.
There's a lot that they're gonna dive into, and I'll be curious because mostly Dark Horse is usually like 5 issues and then a long break. But I'm kind of hoping this one.
I want 12 minimum.
It's gonna be tough though, because there's a bunch of stuff that you can talk about in terms of going against capitalism and corporate America, but
I mean, you got 200 years worth of content to go again. So we got some in stocks. I'm going to start with this one specifically because it's just really cinematic. This is Batman Zero Detective. This is actually just Lee Bermejo's covers that have been on all of the Batman issues for the last like 2 years turned into a story. So there's a story written every couple of pages that goes in between Lee's covers. So if you liked those covers, I've had a lot of people that have been like, oh, are these connecting covers? They weren't, but now they are.
Yeah, they're connected by a story. And I mean, yeah, his covers have always been fantastic, especially the Batman stuff that he's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Artist Elite presents, this is issue 2. This is a bunch of, we were just talking about this, we love to see what artists do when they take over taking stories. This is a bunch of artists who have basically come together and started their own new, like, image kind of situation, where they're telling the stories they want to tell. And each issue gives a couple of starters. Right now, we're at the point where everybody's getting, each issue is a different group, and this is their number ones, and I imagine the next wave will be the number 2s of each one. But we've got 3 in here. I really like the second story, which is the oh my god, what is it called? the Belong story, which is from Freddie Williams Jr. Freddie Williams II. Really good story that's coming in there. But Ben Temple-Smith has the story, and then Ryan Kincaid has the story.
I like the Ben Temple-Smith, the art.
Yeah.
It's really cool. That looks cool.
I like Freddie Williams because it looks like it was like hand drawn, like in an ink pen, so it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of neat if you want to see what some of these artists are going to be doing for themselves.
Artist Elite.
Yeah, Artist Elite is the way to go.
Honestly, I say pick it up just for the fact that it's been 30 years since Image came out, and we're still talking about Spawn.
There you go.
Metal Society issue 5. This is Zach Kaplan. What if robots and humans got into some UFC fights? Omega issue 4? 4 of 4?
Yes,
issue 4 of 4. This is a really good series, but I missed the last issue, so I didn't get to read the end. Prodigy, the Icarus Society. Mark Millar is back with another story. Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, issue 4 of 4. This is Stephanie Williams, kind of wrapping up some of her stuff on Nubia. Poison Ivy, issue 4. Let's just be honest. This Jenny Frison cover is why I brought this. This issue is great, or this series is great in general. I love seeing Poison Ivy tearing up the world, but come on, Jenny Frison, stop it. Phil only has so much money.
Yeah, take a break. Take 6 months off so I can save some money and then roll back into it. But yeah, you gotta slow down.
Because that is
well,
this is stupid. This is one's experience. And she goes, why do you have this? Take it down and make a Jenny Frison wall. And I was like, I mean, I love Jenny, but I love you too. And Megan's like, but have you seen Jenny's work? And if you haven't seen Jenny's work, here it is.
Well, she did a cover very similar to that on
Catwoman.
Yeah, it was Catwoman, but it was Catwoman and Poison Ivy. I was like, this is beautiful. Please do more of these.
Speaking of Blood Moon, this is 9 Circles. This is a great, Old West kind of story mixed with some crazy stuff. And Endangered from Blood Moon Comics. This is really good, but I missed issue 2. Issue 1 was fantastic, and I can't wait to dive back in now that I can go back and find where we put our comics when we moved.
Yeah.
Batman 127. This is Chip Zdarsky's series. We're a couple issues in. Time to jump on if you haven't. X-Men and Moon Girl. I'm loving these Moon Girl one-shots that are blending with all the Marvel characters. All Out Avengers, issue 1, new Avengers series that has a new Avengers team. It includes Jess and Carol, which is super cool, and apparently Blade by the Scotty Young cover.
Nice.
Alien has restarted. I know we just had an Alien Marvel series. This is another Alien series from Marvel. This is the issue 1. I just love this cover. Batman Nightwatch. This is a kids series that launched last year during Batman Day. This is a continuation of that Batman Day issue 1. It has the whole issue though, so if you need it. Wolverine issue 24. This connects to that Avengers X-Men Eternals event, aka Axe Judgment Day. Transformers, Best of Bumblebee Ram. This is also in your box because this is all the best Bumblebee comic book stories that you can find. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 132. This is that Eastman cover. I'm just talking about how it always blows my mind how Kevin Eastman can just come up with a million different ways to draw the Ninja Turtles still after all this time. Not even on the book. Does cover B always has a cool cover for them. I think it's so cool. And Sophie has continuously done an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, I can't praise Sophie Campbell enough for the amazing work that she's done with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just the world that she's opened has just been fantastic. If
you're a classic Ninja Turtles fan and you're not reading the current one, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice. I have so many Ninja Turtle fans who have come into the store and just been like, oh my gosh, Sophie Campbell. And they did a great job with the Free Comic Book Day book this year because it had Sophie's first issue and Kevin Eastman's first issue in it.
That's cool.
And a lot of the parents who were super into Kevin Eastman were like, oh, I'm getting this because I want my kids to understand that, Eastman's Ninja Turtles and Sophie Campbell's are just the quintessential, bookends of Ninja Turtles at this point.
Yeah.
You have to love both.
Because she took over at, a little after 100, I believe, is when she started taking over. It was after the City at War stuff. And she's knocked it out of the park ever since. She's brought in new creations that have been great. I mean, just wonderful.
Yeah. Star Wars issue 27. Charles Soule's still going on Star Wars. Spider-Man 2099 Exodus. This is Omega. This is the end. So if you've been keeping up with that event, here's your wrap-up. She-Hulk from Rainbow Rowell. This is issue 6. Finally starting to get back on a regularly printed schedule for that, which I'm really excited to see. I've heard the show's great. Don't spoil it in the comments. Nobody wants to see your spoilers. Punisher issue 6. Everybody's loving this new Punisher. Like, so many people are like, I'm not a Punisher fan, and I love it.
But the fact that he wields a sword now, I like that after all the stuff that was going on in the world with people using the Punisher logo, I like that he changed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you see the ad that you flipped past? Miracle Man is coming back.
What?
And it's with some Neil Gaiman stuff. Just gonna say I've been ordering it. Let me know if you want it, because we've already started ordering, and Neil Gaiman is working on some Miracle Man stuff. Jason Aaron, Peach Momoko, Ryan Stegman. Like, the Miracle Man stuff's got some all-stars on it. There's going to be a 0-issue one-shot, and then there's going to be a Miracle Man Silver Age story that's Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
So,
I will admit I was more of an Alan Moore Miracle Man fan. But when Neil Gaiman took over, I mean, it was fantastic.
Still Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, I mean, it was still... It's like one amazing writer taking over from another amazing writer.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they're finally bringing Miracle Man back. I feel like every year that was something that people were like, okay, isn't it time?
And he's getting variant covers on, like, all the titles. And so there's a Thor Miracle Man title, like, variant cover, and I was like, I wonder if Donnie's freaking out because Miracle Man is like Donnie's favorite, and there's going to be his Thor on a cover with Miracle Man, and I was like, I wonder if he's like freaking out, because I would be if that was like my favorite one of my favorite characters is turning into like getting brought back, and like my character I'm currently writing is getting a cover with him. I'd be like, that's so cool.
I'd actually be interested to see a Donnie Cates Miracle Man.
You know, if he had his way, I'm sure you would. What are we holding up? New Mutants 29? Yes. Yeah, so New Mutants still going. Looks like Dakin's in there doing some stuff. Yeah. New Fantastic Four, issue 4. I've heard great things about this series from a lot of the people who are subscribed to it. I've never heard a negative thing about Moon Knight, issue 15, Jed McKay. I read the first arc of this series. It was wonderful. I can only imagine. Jed McKay has yet to let me down, so I'm sure it's beautiful. Marauders, issue 6. This is the new run with the new team from Steve Orlando. Judgment Day, also issue 6. This is Immortal X-Men, issue 6. Karen Gillan on it. Another writer who never lets me down. Ghost Rider, issue 6. This is the Hispanic Heritage Latinx Voices Comunidad Comunidades variant cool for that. Yeah, I brought that cover specifically because I was very excited about it. And then Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, issue 4. There's 2 Captain America titles going on right now. One is a Steve Rogers, one is a Sam Wilson, because they split directions after them working together to figure out what was going on with all the different Captain Americas across the country. Right. This is one of the stories. Black Panther, issue 9.
Is it still, who's doing this now? It's not, John Ridley. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Axe Death to the Mutants. Kieran Gillen doing an event. It's crazy. It's awesome. People are loving it. This is for you. Sword of Azrael, issue 2.
And it's Dan Waters, isn't it?
Azrael is back, and he's everywhere. He's actually a big part of DC versus Vampires All Out War.
Really?
They are pushing the shit out of Azrael at DC right now. So this is your time. Your moment has come, Phil. He's everywhere at DC. You can't get away from him. John Paul is taking over DC Comics, whether you want him to or not.
Let's do it.
Phil is so excited. He owns every issue of every
Almost. That first run was 96 issues. I think I'm 4 short of a complete run.
I just found all of them in our stock, so let me know what you need.
I gotta figure out which ones.
Yeah, new champion of Shazam, Mary Shazam story. Check it out if you're a fan of the Shazam world, or if you're excited for the new movie. Mary's getting a lot of attention. Ram, yeah, we'll talk about the new Punisher series. I'll see what I can find for you. I should have all the issues. Multiversity Teen Justice issue 4. I just had to order issue 5 today, and the character on the cover, I didn't know who it was, but they were super cool looking, and so now I'm probably going to probably go back and read this whole series because I'm super stoked about the way the cover, the new the character on the cover looked, and I got to know more. But Multiversity is always fun because it's like a mashup group of characters. So, and this being Teen Justice is going to be a mashup of the Young Justice characters. So I want to see who it is. Flashpoint Beyond, issue 5 of 6. I love this because all of the covers have, the variant covers have, a lot of them have had Martha in her Joker lore. Nice. So I kind of want to go and dive into that and see. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth, issue 4. If you were reading Dark Crisis and you stopped for a moment or got confused, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths is still Dark Crisis. They rebranded the naming to be on Infinite Earths. So the Dark Crisis event became Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth at like issue 3. So we're on 4 now. It is the same event. They have made second printings that have Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths from issue 1. So if you're like, I want it to all match, you can go back and grab those. Black Adam, Justice Society Files. This is Atom Smasher. This is to help us get ready for both the Black Adam movie and the Black Adam series that's going on at the same time. I believe the next one is Dr. Fate. Just saying. Batman Beyond Neo Year, issue 6. If you are a fan. Oh, I brought both covers for some reason. Don't need that. I never say this right. I got Suku. Out to Lunch. Always an adorable book from Oni Press. Who doesn't need a cat that's cute? It's a cat, fox, whatever it is. I don't know. It's cute.
Who also loves metal.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a show on Netflix that they started doing a comic book for. And if you haven't seen the show, go watch it.
Don't tell me that.
It's fun. It's
is
absurd.
it a cat or a fox? Or a bear? Or a panda?
I think she's a bear.
I don't know what she is, but she's cute as hell.
Yeah, she's adorable. And she gets so angry on the TV show. You should watch it. You should give it a watch when you have some downtime.
Walking Dead Deluxe. These are the color reprints of Walking Dead. This is issue 46. They are cranking them out every week so you can recreate your Walking Dead experience, but in color. Trailer Park Boys are back in the gutter. This is a one-shot. So if you're a Trailer Park Boys fan, they are making comic books now, and they are coming out regularly. Time Before Time, issue 16. Yeah, this is a great series. This Declan Shalvey was behind it. I'm assuming he's still doing it, and didn't still doing the art. Great series. What if we corporatized time travel and it didn't go well? Spawn, issue 333, or as they say it, halfway to 666. Once and Future, issue 29. Once and Future is coming to an end soon, so now's the time to start prepping yourself for your massive read if you haven't read Kieran Gillen's Once and Future, which is one of the quintessential Kieran Gillen books everybody seems to really love. It's about to come to an end. So get ready. Prep yourself if you haven't jumped in yet, because you're probably going to want that big, massive collection of it soon. Ninjago. Lego Ninjago has a comic book series. Garmadon. I remember when Lego Ninjago came out at Toys R Us and we couldn't sell it. It was like the ongoing, like, this is the Lego we couldn't sell. And now everybody wants Ninjago stuff. And it's so weird to me because it was like, for the longest time, we were like, well, we moved all of our Lego sets except Ninjago. And now that's the one we're talking about. I love it. I'm here for it.
Well, it was all the animated movies and the video games that kind of brought it into the forefront.
Ramsesh Agrusuko is a red panda. Thank you, Ray.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Mezzo number 5 from A White Blue World with that beautiful Terry Glass cover. Basilisk chapter 11 still going. Here we are.
Cullen Bunn
doing the thing. Image 30th anniversary. I cannot believe Image is 30. Image is 30 and Spider-Man is 60. So let's just all take a moment to like dwell in that for a second. But this is a compilation. It's got different stories. There is a Jeff Lemire one-shot in here that leads to a new Jeff Lemire story. There's an ongoing Jeff Johns, Andrea Muti book story that's been going in these. There's a Scotty Young story in here that happens all the time. This is great. If you haven't been picking up these Image anthologies, check them out because there's news stories in every single one, but there's also like ongoings in all of them as well. It's a great way to celebrate Image with some of your favorite Image creators. And then The Ward, issue 4 from Dark Horse. This is what if you had a hospital for supernatural creatures. This is very Men in Black as well, but it's the hospital line of them. We're going to do this last. Oh, I don't know which way I want to go. Okay, we're going to go with the ones that are already out, and then we'll talk about the new ones. We've got some trades out this week, and I feel like it's been a while since we talked about some of them. So since we brought up that Texas Blood, this is volume 1 of that Texas Blood. This is a $9.99 Image trade, I believe. If you want to jump in and figure out what that Texas Blood was about and just see some greatness, this is it.
Is it signed?
I don't know. Put it up and find out. Because Jacob did sign a bunch of them. No. Maybe?
It is not.
No. I do possibly have some signed downstairs by Jacob still. Also, another one that we haven't talked about in forever, and one that was always the pick of the week from Phil, Crimson Flower by Matt Kent.
Yeah, all 4 issues. It's great. It's kind of a woman going out and avenging the death of her father. And it's kind of tied to like old Russian lore.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really great book.
Do you want to show them the inside?
Of course. But yeah, this is just great art. It's Matt Kent doing the writing. Kind of one of those writers that I'm just always like, I'm intrigued to see what kind of story you're telling. And this one just it grabbed me from issue 1 and just never slowed down.
Absolutely. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a little bitter because we got a trade paperback of that, but I still don't have a trade paperback of Dead Dog's Bite, Dark Horse, that I specifically asked for. And Phil's not mad about it because Phil got a hardcover, but I specifically asked Dark Horse where my trade paperback was, and they were like, but the hardcover's so pretty, and I was like, I want a trade paperback.
That Dead Dog's Bite hardcover is
It's gorgeous, but I could put it in more people's hands as a trade paperback, and I think everybody needs to read it.
I think everyone needs to read it. I don't think you need it in paperback form.
You need it in general, but most people don't want hardcovers.
I never want a hardcover.
See, you're an exception.
I won't read hardcover.
You're an anomaly, Phil. I want a trade paperback so everybody has an option.
Beautiful on your bookshelf,
but they don't look good in your backpack, but your trade paperback does. I need both. I need the option.
That's fair.
And so, another trade paperback from Sourcepoint Press is Winchester Mystery House Volume 1. And I love that it's labeled Volume 1 as a reminder that we are getting more, which also has a 9.5 out of 10 rating from one of the blog sites, which is pretty great. This is the story of the Winchester Mystery House, which is a real place. This is actually sanctioned by them, which is super cool. This is the first 3 issues. I don't think it has the Free Comic Book Day issue in it. No, but it's got ample bonus content, including an in-depth look behind the scenes at the creative process. So that's pretty cool. If you've never heard of the Winchester Mystery House, it's Sarah Winchester, the widow of the inventor of the Winchester rifle. And this is kind of just, why did she create this 7-story mansion in San Jose, California that kept building until the day she died? Super cool, fascinating history that nobody really knows all of the information about. And it's great to see a comic book that kind of plays on the horror aspect of that real-life event. See, Gabe says, I can't read hardcovers. It feels like I'm hurting them somehow. Thank you, Gabe. I do too. You hear that spine crack on that beautiful? Because I want that. I want the beautiful book on my shelf, but I don't want to open it. Okay, I want both. That's what I'm saying. I want both. I need to read a paperback. I don't want to read a hardcover. I want it to look beautiful forever.
But think about how many of these series you've read in single issues.
Right, and that's fine. It's fine. I agree. But if I haven't read it yet, that's the thing. If you haven't read,
that's fair.
If you haven't read it yet, I don't want a hardcover because I don't want to crack it. But all the ones I've already read, sure, buying a hardcover to sit on my thing. Do you know how many copies of Alice in Wonderland I have, or The Wizard of Oz? Those are beautiful because I get those collector's editions that sit on the shelf. That's what a hardcover is to me. It's the collector's edition. But if I haven't read it yet, I want a trade paperback. So for all of you who haven't read Dead Dog's Bite yet, the issues aren't in print anymore. So I want a trade paperback for everybody who hasn't read what was our pick of last year. Like, I want that book to exist in trade paperback so I can make everybody else read this incredible story.
And the hardcovers are usually sealed.
That's true too.
which is annoying
That
because
probably
you
wasn't.
can't read it.
It was I unsealed it.
Oh, you unwrapped it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Carmen's also sealed.
Yeah.
You can't, and I could not sell Carmen until I unwrapped it. The second I unwrapped Carmen, I sold so many of them, but I could not sell a single one until I unwrapped
Moving
it.
forward, when my hardcovers come in, if they're sealed, you can open them to show people how
That's
beautiful
why
they
I opened
are.
Dead Dog's Fight, because you told me that last
Yeah,
week.
so just open them and show people how beautiful it is on the inside, and then tell them to buy the hardcover.
No. But they want to read it, and they can't. I understand. Gabe, I'm with you.
Well,
It's
look,
hard to
here's
read.
the thing, folks. Maybe don't be so abusive when you're reading books, you know? Just do it nice, and, like, I'll come over and flip the pages for you.
I had a friend who she didn't crack the spine on novels, like even paperback novels. They didn't get cracked.
Oh, I love
She
the
lent me a
cracking.
book one time, and I was so scared. I literally read the book, because it was a paperback. I read it like this in my bed, because I was scared that I was going to crack the spine, and none of her books ever had a spine crack. So finally, halfway through the book, just gave it back to her and was like, I can't read this. It's stressing me out. Anyway, we have new trades that are in paperback form. We have Demons from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Phil called this a perfect comic book at one point and said this was everything you could need in a comic book.
To me, it's just like if someone wanted to understand what comics were, or like what's the appeal to them, this is one of those books where it's like, hey, this
Read
is a
this
comic book. Like, this is comic books.
Right. Scott, you nailed it. You nailed it. Greg, you did a great job on the art as per usual. It was a great book. We loved it all the way around. If you're watching the She-Hulk show, Charles Soule's She-Hulk is finally in a complete collection, which I'm very excited about. This is all 12 issues plus the supplemental, like Wolverine 13 and Gwenpool special that she appeared in. This is all of Charles Soule's She-Hulk run. I'm very excited. I love Charles Soule's She-Hulk run. I'm so excited that is. Also, we have a new tongue twister that we say here that is Shann. I can't do it after drinking wine. Shann sells She-Hulk by the seashore.
Oh my god.
And that's our new tongue twister because it's great. Because here I am by the seashore selling She-Hulk and try to say that after multiple glasses of this
I've
incredible wine.
only ever read the slot stuff.
Oh man, read Charles because okay. So here's the thing. I'm gonna hold this up. What I'm talking about. Charles Soule is an attorney, and so an attorney wrote She-Hulk. Which is fantastic. This is great. You have a person who actually was an attorney writing a She-Hulk story, so it's actually really, 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 really good. If you haven't read it, highly recommend. Also, if you don't read Charles Soule books, please do, because one of the great and wonderful things is like when there was all of the uprising about immigration law and things going on like that, Charles Soule, because he makes his money from comic books now, offered free legal services to anybody who needed them during all of that situation that was going on for people who needed help with immigration law for their families. So Charles Soule is a great and wonderful human being and writes some incredible She-Hulk. So, and Daredevil. Anybody that's an attorney, when Charles Soule writes them, it's a great story. And lastly, speaking of hardcovers that are rats, but this one is mine. This is Punchline. This is the story that was the backup story on all of the Joker books, plus the Punchline one-shot that came out. This is Punchline story from the James Tynion book that recently was released. I'm very excited. And it also is actually written by the guy who's currently writing the new House of Slaughter. Sam Johns, James Tynion, House of Slaughter team coming together to write Punchline, which is a James Tynion creation. What I love about this story is Punchline is on trial for all the crimes that she did in connection with the Joker, but it is actually the story of how we as a society fall into what the media tells us. And by the media, it means just anybody on the internet. So somebody gets a podcast and you suddenly connect that with the same as the integrity of the Fourth Estate and how that plays into this. And so this is a really, really, really great story. I love it. I cannot wait to open this up because I haven't opened it yet. I thought about opening it here on the lengthy thing. But Punchline is getting her own series. She will no longer be a backup character. She is getting her own series from DC coming soon. So there's a lot of people in like the speculator boards and stuff that are like, oh, they never did anything with Punchline. I guess she was in that like one issue and then she disappeared. No, she didn't. She's not gone. She's right here. She had this whole 15-issue story that was behind the Joker story, and she's about to have her own series. She has yet to actually disappear at all. She's been going the whole time. So if you want to catch up, here is where you catch up right now.
I'm just discovering that there's an artist named Sweeney Boo.
Who is extremely talented. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at her.
I love the art in this book. If you haven't read it yet, grab a copy. It's so good.
Sweeney Boo. What a great fucking name.
Great name. Those are the trades that are out this week. There's a lot of incredible kids books that came out this week. Like My Friend Killer Croc is out, which I'm super excited about.
Someone just posted. Someone in the world of DC just posted.
Oliver Wilson just posted that book was great, and I trust his opinion. He's actually like 11 years old and reads these 9 years old. How old is Oliver? 9. Oliver's actually 9. Reading all of them. Huge fan. Love it.
I think it was like Tom King or Tom Taylor or somebody at DC that was posting about it. Was like, oh, this is one of the best books out this week.
I got a text message from Josh this week that said Oliver said that My Friend Killer Croc is like the best of those DC books.
Well,
so.
I don't know this Oliver person.
Yes, you do.
So
yes, you do. Josh Wilson's son.
I know.
And he said it was the best one. He's read all of them. So I'm just saying, an actual middle grade reader said it's great. Those are the books that are out this week. As we mentioned at the beginning of this live stream tonight, we are opening the Bat City location in Bradenton, Florida on September 17th, which is this upcoming Saturday. We will be open from 12 to 7. All kinds of great and wonderful things happening. Door prizes, face painting, chances to meet some costume characters and take some pictures of them. Free comics for everybody that comes in. It's going to be an exciting time. Plus, you get to shop the thousands and thousands of issues of Backstock comics that have never graced our floors before, and see our brand new store. So from 12 to 7 this Saturday, September 17th, if you're in Bradenton, you can swing on by and join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna work 24/7 to figure that out, make it happen for you guys, which is what we've been doing. Can't wait to keep that up. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. There's a lot of our friends from Texas that are coming in. Might we even see some surprises, because there's some that have said I'm gonna try, and I'm curious to see what happens. If you're an Austin Batman member, your invoices and stuff will be coming in probably in the next day or so for this last week's comics. I can't get into my office because I just painted a floor right outside of it, so I can't get in there. But they will be coming to you this week. Things are getting done. Very excited. It's going to be a super cool week. Can't wait to see what happens. There's a lot of exciting things happening at Bat City. I just finished the classroom painting last night.
Nice.
So can't wait to be able to show off the fact that we have a full classroom for all of our workshops and stuff now. Really excited. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Until then, hopefully we will see you on Saturday for the grand opening, but if not, Phil and I will definitely be seen next Sunday as we wind down your weekend and ours right here, 9 o'clock Eastern time, now that we're in Florida. Join us for that, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we're here all the time. Yes. We'll see you then. And thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.